Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore. This is Hollywood on the Rocks on a holiday Wednesday. Today, my partner, Alan Ng. It sounds a little weird. I say my partner, but I'm gonna say it. Alan Ng is gonna be here, and he and I will be presenting our best and worst of 2023. Yes, I have made a list, and I checked it more than twice. So get ready for that. Plus, we're going to be talking about Christmas Day releases, including The Color Purple, and a very special guest will be joining us today. That's right, Mr. Fantastic himself from the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, Alex Hyde-White. I have his book, My Life in Film and TV. He is going to be here answering your questions. He played Mr. Fantastic in this film that Film Threat did. You can also get the Blu-ray right here. All right. Plus, maybe a few last-minute presents and gifts. So much to discuss. Let's get Alan here. Alan is like the gift that keeps giving. Where is Alan? He's somewhere here.
But there we go. We got rid of Chris finally. Chris. Chris and his computer. Hey, everybody, welcome to Film Threat. Give me a second here as we kick things off. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what's going on here. Looks like Chris is having technical difficulties, but I'm here for your casual entertainment until Chris gets back. How's everyone doing? Yeah, we got a lot. Chris already told you we got stuff to talk about. We got a couple movies, and we're going to give you the best and the worst. Willie the Monkey King's music. Alan Big D Ng. That's right. Akinika. It's just you and Molly, Alan. That's right. Flav says it's an Asian takeover. Let's see. And Jimmy Francis, need to disagree with Chris's comment on Nerdrotic. Yeah, I'll speak for Chris here. If I understood him correctly, I would say that France isn't the NR1 most innovative country for cinema ever. Creators of celluloid film, most genres. Okay. I heard that, and I have no idea. Let me see. Hey, one thing, Ms. P. Coffee, I don't think super chats are getting starred, so we need to keep an eye on that one. Because Cult Seaman came in for a 15-month membership. Papa Ng taking control. That's right. Oh, here we go. We got Chris on the phone here. Hey, Chris.
Sorry,
how's it going? You're on live, so.
I'm on live?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So what's the deal? You have power, or you have
No, I lost internet.
Okay.
So this is weird. But I'll try to get on as quickly as possible.
Yeah, if you want to get on your phone, you could do that.
To the end?
What?
Does the whole video play to the end?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you weren't talking, and then you went off. But yeah,
right, well,
do you need
everybody, just read some chats. I'll be there as soon as I can.
Okay, yeah, log in on your phone if you can. Okay.
Okay, if I have to, yeah. Okay, bye.
All right. So there we go. Let's go with some Ms. P. Coffee. Let's grab those chats. Flav, member for 5 months. Merry Christmas to you both and the team. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you had a great Christmas. Mine was just with my family. Took my daughter to see 2 of the top 5 movies that I've seen so far. And I'll say for the second year in a row, We agree on what the best movie of the year is, and we'll reveal that later. Let's see. Just making sure we're good here. Let me see. Also, oh, hey, by the way, thanks to the 362 people watching us on YouTube and the 158 people watching us on Rumble. Welcome, everyone. Hey, Chris.
Hey, sorry about that. It literally, I'm like, yeah, what can I say? Well, we got to play that video, but I did. Yeah, it's Spectrum. Somebody mentioned Spectrum in the chat. Spectrum Internet, love it. They don't tell you when it's going to go out. It just goes out, but I didn't get to play. I feel like it's not a proper Alan introduction until we see like this video. It's, where is it? Right here.
I like to see Asians in movies. You know, people, I mean, I have to constantly be saying that. I hate gay films. No, I hate films with women in it.
You're not straight. What? I don't know where that came from. That was
edited wrong.
I can't believe you actually said all those things. Just tremendous fish boobs.
No, I like boobs. I'm just not into fish boobs.
Alan. All right, now we're live. Now we're
officially
live.
Gone to hell. That's where
I'm going to hell after this. That's what's going to happen. Well, a couple things. One, I got to ask you before we get to chat, comments, and questions and our topics for today, and reviews. I think we have a little extra presents that we want to talk about. I got this.
Yes.
My friend sent me this as a joke. My friend Shane Mackey from Atlanta obviously saw my Ferrari review and decided he sent me a Ferrari jacket. This is a full-on Ferrari jacket along with this card game, which is a party game of amazing movie ideas, which is pretty cool, called Pitch Storm. Sent me this book, which I'm very excited about. It's Marvel Comics, the variant covers, which is cool. I'm going to set those aside here for a moment. And then I also got a Game Station 5. It's the GS5.
Oh, wow.
Every kid has been trying to get this.
It looks just like a GS5.
It you know what it looks like? I have to open this box because you'll never believe it when you see this. But the Game Station 5, this is what it looks like. It literally, by the way, I got this off Temu for like $10. It's literally looks like a mini version. It's like the PS5 had a baby. Look how tiny this is. It fits in my hands here with these cheap controllers. I'm going to try that out. I am going to try that out. And then Alan, you sent me a gift and it's wrapped.
Yes.
Shall I open it?
Yeah, open it.
Okay, I'm going to open. This is from Alan.
Right behind you.
Oh, I just need to say this. Alan is as bad at wrapping things as I am. Assuming you wrap this.
Also, I had to get it wrapped in 30 minutes and to the post office.
All right. Hey, this is cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love this. It's the Mego Captain Kirk. Not just Captain Kirk, Mego Captain Kirk. That is cool. Wow, Alan, thank you. I had this when I was a kid. This is, wow, that is amazing. That is going on display with all the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll get you the one next to it also, which was the Michael Burnham action figure.
No, that exists?
Yeah, it does.
It does exist? Oh, that's crazy.
I could have bought it for you.
That's crazy. Well, look, it's going to be a big show today. I actually have a Google Doc with all my best and worst. Do you also have one?
I have Evernote with
Evernote. All right. Well, maybe we can share screen when we go over that, but let's go to our chat.
Hold on. Are we doing top 10 or top 5?
Top 5.
Okay. All right.
I did 5 best, 5 worst, and then I did do honorable and dishonorable mention.
Okay.
So let's go to our chat comments and questions here. Oh my God, we have some very generous super chats here. Holy cow. From James Ricciuti for $49.99, which is 1 penny away from 50. So there you go. Thank you, James. Wow. Hail Film Threat. I had the worst year of my life, but Film Threat kept me kept making me laugh all year. I also just retired after 26 years in law enforcement.
Wow.
James has been very generous. He
Yeah.
sent me
Thank you for your
challenge coins. So congratulations for that. Things are good now. Happy New Year. Here's to a great 2024 and 169,000 subs. James, thank you so much. You're always welcome here. James has been incredibly generous, not just with super chats, but also sent challenge coins to at myself, Alan, and Dante, and they're amazing. I have it displayed on my shelf strategically. So thank you, James. That's awesome. JTP RX for 5 to help Chris pay for his internet connection. I froze. I don't know. It happens sometimes. But thank you for that, JTP RX. Jason Webster, well, Chris wearing a Ferrari F1 jacket. I guess the bad luck of the team in 2023 has rubbed off on Chris today. No, I just thought I would wear it because my friend Shane sent this to me, and I wanted to it ties in because Ferrari opened on Christmas Day. I should wear this to the movie theater, is what I should do.
Yeah, you should go tonight. See Ferrari.
I can. And Finlay Wellburn sends 0.79 pounds and just sends it in. Yeah. Thank you for that. And from Rumble, a lot of people watching us on Rumble. Faux Peasy supporter for $21 says, Al Gore coming back on the stream. I am back. And Lord Thought says, I love the new Migo Kirk in dress uniform figure. He is right here. Oh, that's great to hear, Lord Thoth. And thank you for your moderation. We appreciate you. And from Rumble, also for $10, Faux Peasy supporter says, Chris Gore is back. Nice. Yes, well, what can I say? We have technical issues. It's just fact of the internet when you're doing anything with the internet. But we have, in honor of our special guest today, I am wearing a Fantastic Four t-shirt. Well, it's Fantastic Four, fun Fantastic Four. Yeah. But because Alex Hyde-White is going to be on the show today, I'm wearing this shirt in his honor. So hopefully he makes it. We had to reschedule from last week, but here we are. So there you go. Lots to discuss, Alan. Do you want to talk about anything that you got for Christmas? Any great gifts that you got?
Let's see. It's usually cash. And I got quite a bit
in the red envelope.
No, it's just usually checks and gift certificates. Yeah, it's like, what do you get old people? You get them cash. Now my kid wants cash, so I don't even buy her stuff anymore.
Yeah. Well, what can you say? But nothing like you didn't get a Game Station 5.
Did you send me one? Because I didn't see one.
Oh, I don't know. I think I've got, based on our super chats, I got maybe $10 lying around if you want a Game Station 5.
That's okay.
Next to your PS5.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I have 3 game consoles behind me.
We're gonna do a gaming channel. You have Ing the Merciless. I actually have a personal channel, but I privated all the videos because they're all from years ago.
They just create a new channel.
Well, yeah, I could do that, and we could just game, or maybe we just game just for members only on Film Threat. I've got a whole bunch of videos. By the way, if you're a member of the channel, I am posting a ton of videos because both Alan and I get to see early screenings of movies. Sometimes the actors are there, and I have videos that I have recorded of everything from Denis Villeneuve talking to Michael Mann. I have a video of Oprah interviewing Steven Spielberg about The Color Purple. He tells this amazing story. I might make this public, but I have a whole bunch of videos for our members only. Steven Spielberg talking about how he got the job for The Color Purple because he initially turned it down. Mm-hmm. It's a really great story. I've never heard this before. So I'm going to be posting all these Q&A videos because they don't really fit the channel, but it's perfect little bonus material for members. So there you go. But thank you, Faux Peasy. We appreciate that. A few more chats before we get into, we're going to do our lists first. Then, or should we review? No, let's review the color.
Yeah, let's review first.
Okay, good. Just got a few more, folks. Got to keep it on schedule. I can't go an hour over like Gary, but truth be told, when he's reading the super chats, I'm kind of on Twitter and I'm also like doing email and stuff, and I'm paying attention, but I'm doing a little stuff on the side. So love Gary and X-Ray Girl. So there you go. And the Nooner's always fun. I look forward to it. Johnny Boy says, have you checked out the 2024 Sundance Film Festival guide? Will you be attending the festival this year? I'll be attending online again this year. Alan is our point person. Alan is the chief, not only the editor-in-chief of Film Threat, which is on his business card, although we ran out of business cards. Nobody does business cards anymore.
I know.
But Alan is orchestrating all of that. I have not looked. Alan, and we will be doing a special show. I actually just laid out for January all of our shows. We're doing a Sundance Film Festival preview special where we'll be talking about movies playing there. We're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks. We are doing a Golden Globes watch party on Sunday, January 7th.
Week from Sunday.
4 p.m. Pacific time. We are doing a watch party. Last year, we got had thousands of people watching us live. We had special guests. I'm going to invite people, whoever can show up. I'm going to definitely invite Kira Lynn. She's invited. She was very popular. So I'll invite her among others, and then we'll just see. I don't know. The Globes are sort of whatever.
Well, I mean, last year was great because we got that great comedy monologue from Gerard Carmichael.
Oh, that was such a downer. It was awful.
Yeah.
But okay, Johnny Boy, just circling. I'm just saying January is going to be a weird month because there are not a lot of great movies that are opening. It's in fact, January looks like garbage. In fact, I think our first video for that month is like garbage January because you're just dumping stuff they don't care about that should be streaming stuff like like
maybe we could stretch Echo out for the whole month.
I think we're going to talk about Echo for one day and that's about it. I don't know if it's worth it. But Alan, the Sundance Film Festival will be a big part of our coverage. We're more than likely going to interview filmmakers, additionally from Slamdance as well. Alan, your first impressions of the lineup?
Yeah, I looked through it and nothing really leaps out at me. The only thing I remember on there was some car road trip with Will Ferrell and another guy. That's a movie, and then Slamdance has, I think Slamdance is more promising. In fact, I will be doing interviews on our interview channel, and we have an interview with Chris Jericho on the interview channel when Slamdance runs around. So there's a wrestling documentary that he executive produced.
Oh my God, that's great! I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I'm just not that impressed.
Sundance, let's be honest, a lot of these movies are movies that are going to open in 2 theaters and in small release. That's just the reality.
Yeah, that's even when Hollywood was going to Sundance, it was definitely movies that weren't going to make it to the Oscars. I mean, it's coming out in January, for crying out loud. So there's a whole year before, these are films that are not going to make it to award season, but have enough high profile stars in it to maybe pique your attention. And I don't, last year we had crap. Okay, sorry. Last year, we had Sabina there, and after the first weekend crowded. After the weekend was over, everyone left. No one was at Sundance.
I just don't know that Sundance is culturally as significant as it used to be. That's just a fact of life. It's not as culturally significant as it used to be. To break out these films. I feel like now also it's very politically. Sundance is one side of the aisle to the extreme. It's very progressive, very far left.
Yeah. Although your friend is the programmer this year, isn't he?
Yeah. Eugene Hernandez, who was his first writing gig was for Film Threat, and then he started IndieWire, and then went off to he ran the New York Film Forum, and then first of all, he's a great choice as a program director. I just think that, it's a team effort. We'll see. I haven't been to Sundance since 2018.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if it's as culturally significant. We talk about it every year. I think that South by Southwest has more mainstream, or at least movies that are fun. There's a lot of horror films, comedies, small documentaries that are pop culture in nature.
I'll say films that fit Film Threat.
Films. Yeah. South by Southwest. The plan is for Alan and I to go to South by Southwest, where we're going to share a room.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Single king. I think that's what
But yeah, no, Johnny Boy, you could expect coverage from us, but I tend to go for I look at the movies that are pop culture or horror, stuff like that. And I just don't know. I haven't looked at it, but I trust Alan's judgment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Cool.
And if you want to sponsor our trip to South by Southwest, we're totally open for it. Yeah.
Yes, we would love that. Bonesaw is ready for 2. Says Spectrum is garbage here in Texas too. I just think that the quality of most everything has sort of been downgraded when it comes to all things. This is where we are now in our world. And yeah, but thank you for sending that in, because then I get to say it in that voice. Sons and Shadows gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Be sure to sign up for the Discord. There'll be a link on the community tab for members only. Sign up on the Discord. You can continue to chat there. And then also look at all the exclusive videos. And we also do giveaways for members only. And I'm going to be posting a bunch of those videos, including the interview. Well, it's not an interview, but it's like a little Q&A with Steven Spielberg about The Color Purple. And another thing here. SLVR sends in 200 Martian pesos and says, wish you both and the chat a very happy new year. Hope we get a better lot of movies from the Hollywood Factory this coming year.
No.
Well, we're getting Dune Part 2.
Which it comes out when?
March 1st. We're getting Dune Part 2. We are also getting Deadpool 3. We're getting Joker 2 in October. I mean, there are going to be some highlights, but they are releasing 1/3 fewer films next year as opposed to this year. 1/3 fewer wide release movies. Hollywood is going to be falling on some hard times here.
Yeah.
So
that just means independent filmmakers, this is your time.
Indie filmmakers, now's the time to shine, because theaters need content. Yeah. Black Star 1069 says Alan Doggo is going to demonetize the channel. Yeah. What is Molly doing back there?
Yeah, she was licking herself a while ago.
Well, there you are. MK Solid 82 says Chris didn't sound very excited for Nosferatu. That was on the Nooner. No, that is actually 100% not true. I cannot talk about it, and I'll tell you exactly why. I snuck into a preview screening, and I can tell you I'm very enthusiastic for this film. Cannot wait to see it again. It was a test screening. I snuck in, and I wore fake glasses and a hat so I wouldn't be recognized. I'm not even joking.
We've had writers kicked out of test screenings.
I have been kicked out of things because people recognize me. I'm just trying to keep it on the down low. It's also not fair to comment on it because it wasn't finished. Yeah, okay. What I saw, I loved, and I hope they don't change much. I really hope they don't change much. So there you go. All right. Profound Lore Record says, haven't decided my favorite movie of the year just yet, because I have yet to see Zone of Interest, which I am anticipating it being my movie of the year. Currently, Killers of the Flower Moon. Well, that's fair enough. So there you go. And Babo Yogi says, Indie Writes Movies for Free has Attack of the Doc here on YouTube. That's right. Attack of the Doc is available on streaming. This was always the plan. Attack of the Doc you can see on Tubi for free with commercials and on YouTube for free with commercials, unless you have YouTube Premium, and then it's not. Then it's
it's commercial free.
It's commercial free. So the plan was always, video on demand where you rent it or purchase it, then on Blu-ray, which you can get the Blu-ray of Attack of the Doc, which I highly recommend. 25 plus hours of extras, Easter eggs. It's super fun. If you're a fan of G4 TV or Attack of the Show, get the Blu-ray. And the point is, how do I get people to get the Blu-ray? We'll just make it possible for people to watch on streaming for free. And they're like, oh man, I really love that. I want more. More is on the Blu-ray. So I hope you check out the Blu-ray. Go to attackofthedoc.com or shop.filmthreat.com. Alan, it's time. It's time to talk about this film.
Yes.
We're going to talk about The Color Purple. So just give me a second. I got to set this up here. I got to go to this. And Alan, tell us about The Color Purple.
All right, The Color Purple stars Fantasia Barrino as Celie, who is a young girl living in the South just after the Civil War. Her sister is beautiful, played by Halle Bailey, and Mr. wants to come along and marry her sister, but her father won't let her do it, and so he has to marry Celie instead. If you've seen the original Color Purple, it's the exact same story, but basically it's a story of Celie trying to find herself, find her voice in the midst of racist South and misogynistic South. And this is The Color Purple. It is the exact same story from the movie, except this is the musical, and it's based on the Broadway musical, which did star Fantasia Barrino, and I believe I don't remember the actress's name. She's really good. The one who played I forget the names of it. I saw this like a month and a half ago.
Just bring it. Here's what I always do. I bring up the movie and I bring it up with the cast. You can just use the Google.
Yes, but usually I don't know. I'm going to talk about it until you say, "Hey, tell me about this movie." But I believe it's Danielle Brooks, and of course, I type in the name, and stupid IMDb is.
Well, here's what I do before I go on a stream: is I prep all this stuff in advance, and I have tabs open.
Yeah, my problem is the tabs for IMDb are video heavy, and it starts to affect my screen.
Just use Google. Anyways, there's a character played by Taraji P. Henson. She plays Shug Avery, who's a singer, and Halle Bailey plays the young version of Nettie. And just look, if you've seen, Coleman Domingo plays Mr. That's just called Mr. throughout. It's he's an abusive husband who drinks and is abusive. There's a lot of DV in this, domestic violence, and scenes that are difficult to watch. This movie, though, while it is the story of the original Color Purple, it's a musical. So it is I believe it's based on the Broadway play.
It is completely based on the Broadway musical.
Based on the Broadway play, but I gotta say,
I'll just say Fantasia Barrino started. Danielle Brooks, who plays Sophia, was also in the original as well.
Right. And I'll just say this: I went into this very skeptical. The original is considered a classic. You either love that film, you get caught up in it. It is Spielberg, or you don't. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was different. It is not that movie. It's not the original. This is a different vision. It's fully leans into the musical aspect. And here's one thing that I think the director of this film did such a good job. His name is Blitz Bazawule. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, so my apologies. And he turns it into a musical, but here's my problem with musical numbers in musical movies. They always go on too long. And what he very smartly did is all these musical numbers are like tastes of these songs. It's like a musical tasting. So there's like these musical numbers and then they're over. And they just kind of like enhance an aspect of the story so that the way that the music in the film was used and the dance numbers was used incredibly well. And it's weird. It kind of, and I mean this in a good way. This isn't a negative. The musical aspect is really awesome. And then it switches right back to the drama. And you kind of, the musical aspect, I've always whenever I've seen a musical, it's like, well, this is the song in the person's head, right? It's a story that's happening. Yes. Like the Wizard of Oz, but the songs are like these pauses where you see the characters in the story express their feelings through song. That's all it is. And this does such a good job of that, mainly because the songs are all short. I didn't feel that any of them dragged, even though the running time of the movie is about 2.5 hours, I want to say. Am I right about that?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 21 minutes. 2 hours and 21 minutes.
220, yes.
220. And I'll say this. There is a great buildup between like Mr.'s abusiveness that build up to a dinner scene that might be one of the best dinner scenes I've seen in a movie this year, where just all the drama is laid out on the table. I went into this very skeptical, didn't want to love it, walked away just inspired. I think the ending, you're going to get choked up. That ending, that is this big payoff that's set up in the very beginning of the film. Don't want to give it away, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's among some of the better films I've seen this year. It's not in my top 5, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I do recommend it. I'd say probably 7.5 out of 10 for me. Alan, what did you think?
Well, I would second everything you said, except every time you went positive, I would go negative. I mean,
what? Are you joking?
I'm not joking. Okay.
And you like musicals.
I do like musicals.
I do like
love
musicals.
I go.
Okay. All right. Fair.
I love musicals. Okay. Let's say this. I am such a big fan of the original Spielberg, The Color Purple, that this one just felt like it was because it was a musical. I just didn't feel like you could take it as seriously as that first one. There's so much violence and so much, the story of Celie herself is so, it's so dark and gritty that making it a musical just takes you kind of out of it. It makes you feel like it's a musical. And I think that was my whole problem with the movie. And I will say, going in as someone who was a big fan of that first original movie, this one just doesn't live up to it in any way. And look, the one thing about a musical, for me to say it's a great musical or not a great musical, is, do I remember songs? I don't remember a single song from this musical. And I will say, of the musicals that came out this year, Wonka was the closest. But even Wonka, I don't remember a lot of the songs that were done in Wonka. And this one
only one song from Wonka.
Yeah, and that was from the original.
Right.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my biggest problem is this: it was just hard to take the movie seriously because it, in the original, it's set in real locations. This one's set on a stage meant for a musical. And there's something about musicals that work better on stage than it actually does in film. I think, when you see a musical production on film, it doesn't even translate that well. I mean, the greatest example of this is Into the Woods. The movie Into the Woods just did not translate well at all from the original musical, and it felt like it just lost the magic. And I think that's what happens here. This is one of those cases where I think I'm so tightly held to the original that it's hard for me to give this movie a fair shake. And so I would just say, go see the original movie rather than see this. Music's average. I think Fantasia Barrino's great. I think the actors are good. Coleman Domingo stands out. So does Danielle Brooks. They give great performances, but again, it's the musical portion that's really hanging me up here.
Well, I'll say this. It is hard to compare the two. I think that they're very, very different things.
Yeah.
Like completely different. So, but I got caught up because I got caught up in that story, that payoff of that dinner scene that kind of like puts the film in a different direction.
Yeah. I mean, that was well done.
That was well done. See, I thought that part was well done. I really enjoyed that. And I just got caught up in, and there just haven't been very many good musicals. Hollywood is like proven itself so bad at doing things like certain types of movies, comedies. I mean, we both saw Anyone But You last week. I enjoyed it. I maybe enjoyed it a little bit better than you, Yeah. I'll just say that like, it's unbelievable that Hollywood just seems incapable of making certain types of movies. And it's really disheartening. It's really disheartening that we're there. So there you go.
Yeah. I loved West Side Story, Spielberg's West Side Story.
I don't like Spielberg's West Side Story.
Oh, I love it.
I hate it. They didn't have the subtitles. The original's too ingrained in my head. The Robert Wise original West Side Story.
But the music was spot on in that one. And I will say, if you've ever grown up in a culture that doesn't speak English, like Chinese, listening to people not speak English, you kind of get what they're saying. You kind of get what's going on.
Mhm.
I'm just used to hearing people not speak my language and knowing what they're saying.
Right. Well, look, I didn't like West Side Story. I did like Color Purple. Do you recommend it or not recommend it?
I do not recommend it. I would
Fair.
definitely go see the original.
Okay. I'll just say that, like, I believe that the two can coexist, except it's very different experiences. Color Purple obviously being a much more serious drama, the musical version being this experience, right? It's a more, I would say that the musical is very uplifting because of the music. So there you go. Let's go to your chat comments and questions from WDW Pro. Good to see you here. If Color Purple's music is less than amazing, it's a killer for the movie overall.
Mhm.
It's like a scary movie without a scary villain. You gotta have tremendous music in
Yeah.
a musical. I think that there is really good music in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do sing spirituals that I'm very familiar with from church.
Right.
So yeah, those were memorable because I knew the song beforehand.
Right.
And look, Fantasia Barrino is a singing force, and she's gone through her own journey, and you kind of feel her in the role as Celie. That there wasn't a lot of acting for her in this one. This was like real, true to her. But damn, it's still a musical.
Thank you, WDW Pro. We appreciate that comment. And Jackson Cagle for 5 says, Amelie, I hear is cool. Yes, it is being re-released the week of Valentine's Day in February. Amelie is being re-released. It's one of my all-time favorite French films. It is it's so hopeful and romantic and just a whole entertaining think piece about life and fate and big and choices that people make in their lives. I really love Amelie. We'll talk about it in February when it comes out. I plan to see it again
I will see
in the
it.
theater. Yeah. Turo says it's weird how Chris has been more optimistic. The more optimistic one lately towards Hollywood films. Alan has been like Mikey. He hates everything. If you get that commercial reference, you're old like me. What are you talking about? I crap on Hollywood films all the time. It's just that I'm looking for something that is, if a movie has an optimistic theme or family is a big part of it, I'm a bit more hopeful. Like with Aquaman 2, which is not a very good movie, but at least it does it. At least it's got family as a big part of it, right? So
Yeah, family.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and argue that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is a good film. Objectively, it's not. Having said that, was I entertained? Yes. The 7-year-old me that got up on Saturday mornings to watch the Super Friends cartoons loved that movie. The adult version of me is like, this is the dumbest movie with the worst script I've ever seen. But I can tap into that sort of kid brain where I look at Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and think to myself, oh, that was kind of fun in a stupid way.
The best thing for me about Aquaman 2 was discovering that Regal had gotten rid of that horrible opener before every movie.
They just wanted you to leave the theater sooner.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted, Alan. Hey, and Don C has not only become a YouTube member. Dan C has not only become a YouTube member. Dan C has gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Hey, to our new members, join us on Discord and check the member tab. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos over the next, because I've got time. I'm just going to be posting videos for you to check out. So thank you for that, Dan C. That's very generous. All right, now it's time. We're pivoting here. We're going to pivot. And I don't know, we'll just go with that background because why not?
Yeah.
And we're going to change the banner to, well, okay, here we go. Let's start with best. Okay, we're going to do 2. Okay, we're doing the best.
Or are we going to,
or should we go with worst or best first?
I mean, you want to build up or you want to build down?
I'm building up. Let me go first and you can like work on your list.
So I'm saying we should start with worst and then move up to best. You
want to start with worst?
You would think that the anticipation for best.
All right. This is a note for Glenn. We're starting it over. And now it's time for Chris and Alan's worst of 2023. We're going to go in reverse order with our top 5, so to speak, or with worst bottom 5. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me present my screen here. I have my list. Wait, before I present the screen, I'm going to have to change it now that you have mixed it up, Alan, to the worst of 2023. Let me share this here.
We're going to do that. Okay, Alan.
It's okay.
I didn't think I was going to share it. So
I present my worst of 2023. And you may not even remember any of these movies, but I'll just say this. There are reviews of all of these films, both the best and the worst, on the Film Threat YouTube channel. So I've got a top 5 worst and a top 5 best, along with honorable and dishonorable mention. So I'm going to present my list first, and then we'll go with your list, Alan. So here we go. My number 5 on my list is Fool's Paradise. No one even remembers this movie. It was a terrible comedy about an actor who somehow becomes famous, played by Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I love that show. And I really like Charlie Day as an actor, frankly. I thought he was really good in Pacific Rim, of all things. But I've always just liked Charlie Day. I think he's funny. He's genuinely funny. Fool's Paradise is terrible. I get the concept. But wow, was it bad. That's number 5. Number 4, Freelance. John Cena in one of the worst. I even forget who was the lead in that. The lead actress.
Oh, it was John Cena.
No, lead actress.
Oh, Alison Brie.
Alison Brie is in it, and I really like Alison Brie. No problem with her. John Cena. This is just a bad movie. Everything. Like the tone of it was all over the place. Is it a Hallmark movie with a delightful family drama? Or is it like this brutal action movie about a dictator? It's neither of those things does it do well. It's just awful. Number 3, Wish. Yes, I saw Wish. God awful. An embarrassment for Disney on their 100th anniversary. People involved at Disney should be kind of embarrassed by this. I was just disappointed, but maybe not surprised, but it's even worse than I had imagined. And I heard your review before I actually saw it. Number 2, The Marvels. Yes. Number 2 is The Marvels. It fits that film. I mean, the only saving grace of The Marvels is Iman Vellani. I think she's just likable as a person, as an actress. So I really like her. But other than that, The Marvels, colossal disappointment. What were they thinking? And I have no idea. I think it hurts overall. I think it hurts the brand. So there you go. All right. And now number 1 worst of 2023 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That is my worst film of 2023. It's just god awful. Should have been a home run. I just don't think they should have made it. And if you were going to make it, you could have made, look at the way that Terry Metalis did season 3 of Picard. I don't want a whole treatise on how he's old and a loser. If it's going to be one last adventure, make it a good one. Colossal disappointment. It has killed the Indiana Jones brand, or the IP, if you could consider that even worthwhile anymore. It's solidified Kathleen Kennedy's place as one of the worst producers in Hollywood, in terms of being a shepherd of some great franchises. That's my number 1 on the worst of 2023. Now, I do have some dishonorable mentions. I just made a list of movies that stood out to me as also being bad, but they didn't make my worst 5. I'm going to scroll down to those. Where did it go? Dishonorable mentions: Aquaman 2, Saltburn, Peter Pan and Wendy. Does anyone even remember that? Ant-Man Quantumania and Blue Beetle are among my dishonorable mentions. So there you go. I don't know why I have this such a big font. I just want you guys to be able to see it. Alan, can you share his screen with yours?
I will say Indiana
Probably
Jones.
your worst.
I'll just say Indiana Jones and Dial Destiny was not on my list. Why? Because you voted that I didn't have to see it. So
is that true? I forgot that.
Yeah.
You were so okay, but what does that tell you? That you didn't even want to see the movie.
I know. It's I mean, look, we've all gone through this. We saw the first three. We loved the first three. Why ruin that whip by watching the other two? I've still not seen the other one, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So my memory of Indiana Jones is 1 through 3.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's exciting. Okay, let's see.
All right, let's do this.
The worst. Let's do it.
2023. So Fast X. My God, I hated this movie so much. I mean, look, I am not a fan of the Fast and Furious series. The fact that I had to sit through and watch another one and watch, how long was it? Like well over 2 hours long. And not only was it well over 2.5 hours long, it's a part one.
Oh my God.
The movie ended on a cliffhanger for part two. And I was so pissed off at this movie at that moment that it made number 5 worst movie of all time. In fact, after I saw the movie, I remember texting you saying, "Did you know Fast X was a part 1?"
I think I knew it, but I was like, I couldn't believe it. It's sort of ridiculous.
I mean, the moment it said to be continued, I never hated a movie so much in my life.
Oh man.
But yet that wasn't the worst. To number 4, Aquaman 2. It's just, maybe it's because I've seen it recently, and maybe because the thing I can say about all superhero movies this year, with probably the exception of Guardians of the Galaxy, is you should have been able to do a whole lot better than what you had. I think in every case you had a spot, a shred of a good story, and if you were smart enough to have picked up on it, you would have made a great movie. The Marvels, weirdly enough, there's a story in the Marvels that had they told that story, just the idea that Captain Marvel almost killed a planet and that she could feel regret over that and has to somehow atone for that. That would have been a much better movie than what the Marvels actually would have been. And it would have been a movie that I think would have been better. And we've all seen ourselves in, because we've all made mistakes in our lives, but no, she's a girl boss. Number 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, wow.
Again, yeah, this one is just like Aquaman 2. It relies on that Marvel brand to make you want to watch it and to make you care anything about it. The quantum realm has no rules, and the same thing with Aquaman 2. Atlantis has no rules, and so we don't care about this world they're in, and all we're seeing is craziness and wackiness. And so Ant-Man Quantumania. Number 2, the Marvels.
Wait. Okay, so we have our lists are kind of have stuff in common. We both put the Marvels at number 2.
Yeah, both Marvels in number 2. It was a movie made for teen girls and not for comic book fans. And the more I think about it, the more I'm standing by that statement. So sorry Kelly Sue DeConnick. That's how I feel.
Okay. What's your number 1 worst of the year?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can guess. It's Wish.
Oh, I had Wish at number 3.
Yeah, I'll tell you why Wish is the worst. The Wish is the movie that killed a legacy. The Walt Disney Company is broken. Wish is not even a reflection of Walt Disney the man. Wish has destroyed an entire brand. Wish has destroyed the legacy of Disney animation that began 100 years ago. Congratulations, Wish. You went full circle. And that is the worst movie of the year. Look, I've talked on end about how bad the animation was, but look, the songs, not memorable. The characters have there's no fatal flaw in Asha. Her quest is to defeat a king who is protecting her people. It's just and the more people have reached out to us about Wish, the
Mhm.
more you realize that this was a disaster in the making.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we will be doing a whole D-file on Wish itself.
Ooh, but that's going to be in the coming weeks.
Yeah, that'll be in the coming weeks.
That's probably in several weeks from now.
Yeah. Probably
Maybe
the third or fourth one. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe by the end of January, early February. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think
I'm pretty sure it'll be done through January. So.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's keep your list up there, Alan. And should we publish these lists? We could publish them maybe as graphics. Share your list with me, Alan. I'll post it on the community tab for our YouTube channel. And that way people, because I know we're gonna get a ton of people. What's your best list? It's like there's a video on it. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll post it because I know. Did you have any dishonorable mentions?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me just grab it here. Sorry, I didn't realize we were going to present this way, so I had to reformat everything.
Oh, okay, no, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah. So, Dick's the Musical is on there. Like You, Saltburn is on there, and I also you're gonna love these two: Asteroid City and Poor Things.
Oh well, I disagree with that, but that's whatever. It's fine. They didn't make your top list.
No, because if we had done 10, they would have made the top 10.
It's funny. Our lists are only off by 2 movies. You put Fast X. You put Fast X and Ant-Man and the
Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp on your bottom 5 worst.
Yeah,
and those are on my honorable. Well, Fast X was not on my.
Yeah, I mean, I think because when you put the John Cena one and the other one, those were. I didn't really go for the lower profile films. I was going for the big Hollywood.
Right. Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of crossover with our.
I wouldn't
list.
have put Blue Beetle on that list either.
Yeah, but
I liked it more than you did. Not enough to give it a worst.
But most movies that we've seen, because I actually, in order to compile this list, I went through all of our reviews. I scrolled through all of our reviews on the channel for the last year.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Just to remind me, like, that's interesting. Like that was, but it just reminded me that most of the movies that we review are kind of meh. Yeah. They're mostly meh. They're not great. They're not bad. They're just meh. And I would put Blue Beetle probably in a meh category, meh to worst. But like,
hey, do you know what movie did not make our list? Either of our lists? The Flash.
Right. Neither. Not a best or a worst. It's just sort of like, and the thing is this, truthfully, I like the Michael Keaton Batman stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a huge fan of I just saw Batman Returns in a theater last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic.
Oh, I bet.
So much fun seeing it in a theater. But
sorry, there's a super chat here. I'm trying to get it.
Okay, cool.
The chat is agreeing with me about Asteroid City. It's
okay, that's fair. Let's go to your chat comments and questions here. We're going to start with super chats first from Mull for €5 says, Happy Christmas from Ireland. My favorite movie this year was Godzilla -1, and the worst was Napoleon. Well, it's interesting because Napoleon didn't even make like any of our worst. It's just like I would put that in a meh category. Like there are things I liked about it, things that didn't work about it, and there you go. Thank you for that, Mull123. Jason Webster for 5. My choices for worst films of 2023. Number 5, Fast X. Number 4, The Flash. 3, Little Mermaid.
Oh, I didn't even think about
Number
Little
2,
Mermaid.
The Marvels. And number 1, Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Ours crossover. Yeah, in Little Mermaid.
Oh man, if I had remembered Little Mermaid, I wonder if that would have made the list.
I remembered it's just like Base Player 2011 of 5 for $4.99. I'll say this about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It could have been a lot worse. As for the part 1s, you can blame Frenchie McBaggett for that. Well, there you go. And from Pilgrim Media for 2, always good to see you here. Which studios will double down on woke in 2024?
Disney.
Disney, I don't know that Disney will. There are indications that they realize this is a problem, and there has been a warning to investors that if you invest in Disney, just know that they've kind of doubled down on woke films, and that's a risk if you give them your money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with what we're hearing about X-Men, whether it's true or not, it doesn't look like lessons are being learned.
Yeah, I think that's the only one. I like. A lot of the other studios seem to be aware that this is something audiences are rejecting. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Yeah. I mean, look, let's go to Superman Legacy for a second. Every single press release about Superman Legacy has included the phrase truth, justice, and the American way. So far, the casting of Superman Legacy seems to be on point in terms of what we understand of as the proper race of all the characters from classic Superman. So we've not really been the only reason we complain about Superman is because Aquaman came out and The Flash came out, and all these movies that they finally have are cleared off their boards. So we'll see. Warner Brothers, we'll see if James Gunn is going to let us all down or not.
Well, the fact that they have a red-haired, freckled Jimmy Olsen, a guy that could be Jimmy Olsen from right out of the older comics, I love that. I think that James Gunn is going to build a very rich universe. Is he going to complicate it with maybe too much going on? I feel like that is a legit criticism of James Gunn's work. He tends to get overcomplicated with too many characters, and then a second, third act that kind of muddies the waters.
Yeah. And I think the best thing about the strike was I think it slowed him down.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he's taking the fact that he could focus solely on Superman at this moment.
I just think when you look at all the DC failures this year, I mean, they have all failed. Every single one. Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and now Aquaman 2. When did Black Adam come out? Did Black Adam come out?
I think it was earlier this year.
Oh my God, I think it did. So 5 DC movies. They literally dumped them. I wonder if they would have lost less money by having them on, just throwing it on Max.
Okay, I think Black Adam was last year.
Okay. Was it?
I don't have the release date. Well, IMDb says 2022.
Oh, well, then there you go. Thank you, Pilgrim Media. That's a good question. Continuing on, another super chat here from MK Solid 82 for $4.99. Kathleen Kennedy has destroyed these old IPs, and it totally kills the toy market. Vintage Star Wars toys were like holy relics. Now Disney has cut the value by 50%. Wow. That's depressing, but facts. What can you say? Kara Lynn says, sup nerds. Hey, good to see you, Kara. Appreciate you. Awesome. Tom Siebert says, I loved Asteroid City. And Aaron Taylor says, I think Chris only put Freelance because he wanted to see the Toxic Avenger. Seriously, no Flash. Flash just for me is like, it's not, I mean,
there's enough good in it.
There's enough good in it to go like, I could just do the Michael Keaton cut, like I'd rather just see that. Michael Keaton coming back.
And if you haven't been following the news about Ezra Miller, you probably would like it more too.
Exactly. But I was pissed off about Freelance. It was so bad. I can't believe I saw it in a theater. People walked out of the screening I was at. Yeah. It was bad. I actually have.
Well, you made me see Freelance.
I thought it was going to be the Toxic Avenger. Well, I'll say this. There is another. Now AMC is doing the same thing. There's an AMC mystery movie on Monday, January 8th, I believe. And I already have tickets to it. So we'll see. And Tom Siebert says, I loved Asteroid City. Wait, I think I said that one. Asteroid City is the only movie I saw this year that made me angry, says President Jesus. That's fair. And Laura Buckles. Hey, Laura Buckles. I want to say thanks for hanging out by the fire the Disney fire. They've obviously blocked The Flash out of their memories. I think I
definitely blocked Little Mermaid out of my memory.
I'll say this, Laura. And we did this thing where we did a Disney Star Wars Yule log. It went for 37 hours. And for some reason, it's processing. So
no, it's good now.
You checked it?
Well, I checked it after you said something about it, and then no, it's just process. That's what happens whenever we do a live stream.
I can't bring it up.
You can't. I did. I did when I read your message.
No, it still says the live stream recording is not available. Why?
Okay, I'm not going to figure it out now.
Yeah, it's it says visibility public. My apologies for that. We will post another video of this, so maybe you can put it on the TV when you're home for New Year's, because I don't go out on New Year's. To me, New Year's is I don't want to be on the road when so many people are drinking or going to parties with strangers.
It's the closest thing to the purge that we have. Right.
I just sort of chill on New Year's Eve. Then I get up at an ungodly early hour to go watch the Rose Parade in Pasadena. And what is this?
Yeah, no. I might.
What is that?
Might have actually started without.
Okay. I don't know what that means. All right. Yeah, Laura. But Laura was in the chat during, and I actually, you know what? When I shut the stream down, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to say hi. So after 37 hours of this Disney logo burning in effigy, I went on the stream and I just waved, and then I turned off the stream, and there were like maybe 25 people watching. There you go. Bonesaw is ready for 10. Says another thing to keep in mind: ESG investments have dropped from 17 trillion to 9 trillion in the last 2 years. Having customers is more sustainable than trying to get a high credit rating for loans. Yeah, it's utterly ridiculous. The ESG is not working, and DEI is just further dividing people. It does not lead to a positive work environment, and it's very disheartening to see.
Yeah. And people don't want to hear it.
People don't want to hear it in their movies or at their workplace. I'm seeing more and more stories of people saying, I don't agree with this. Thank you. Bonesaw is ready. Coming in hot with another one. Bonesaw is ready for 5. Also, worst films were, this is Bonesaw is ready's list: Wish, Marvels, Indy 5, Expendables 4, and Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon was a complete waste of time. I would agree with you. That should have been on my honorable mention. Expendables 4 was just dumb, but I really do like those actors, honestly. So there you go. But that's a good list. Our list, a lot of crossover on these lists. A lot of crossover. Apocalypse Tedium says, when you party the rest of the year, you can skip New Year's. Yeah, I'm pretty much, I go out almost every night. Here's my excitement. I go out to see movies, so I'm eating popcorn. I'm in a movie theater. Okay. But yeah, I don't go out on New Year's. Sometimes I just go for a walk because I like to see the craziness in Old Town Pasadena. But I get up early on New Year's Day and I watch the Rose Parade. And then this year, because Michigan is playing in the Rose Bowl, I am going to the Rose Bowl game, and I'm going to try to get tickets. Try to get tickets from a scalper. Trim says New Year's is amateur hour. I would agree. Trim, thank you also for hanging out during the Yule log. Christopher Dominguez says to Chris, have you seen this TV series from Netflix called Obliterated? It stars Allison Gorski, who you and Alan interviewed earlier in the year for Amy's Effort List. I have not seen it.
Yeah,
but
I've seen the image for it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, by the way, Amy's Effort List is on YouTube, on the Indie Rights YouTube channel. You can see it for free with commercials. So check out Amy's Effort List with Allison Gorski. I have not seen Obliterated, but that's cool. A lot of it, what's really interesting is a lot of the people that Alan and I interview in indie film, they go on to do bigger things, and then they don't talk to us anymore.
Yeah, we get them on the way up, and then we get them on the way down.
And that's it.
No, and we get them on the way down.
Hey, Christopher Moonlight, Productions, always good to hear from you. Just remember, the Quantum Terror came out before Quantum Mania. That's right. The Quantum Terror won for best horror film, best indie horror. So check out the Quantum Terror. I always look on an app called Just Watch. We got to move along because we have a special guest joining us very shortly. And from Rumble, Caveat Ties, who's a supporter, says, my ex-fiance loved Amelie. I didn't care that much for it. Well, that's fair. That's fair. You cannot like that movie. It is one of my favorite French films of all time. All right, now we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot here on the banner. I don't know what we're doing here. We're pivoting. I don't know why that you play that video.
It is amazing. She is the first female action hero ever in a movie.
Well, look, he's 19 years old. She's 32.
Whoa!
You have to get in your gear for this, Alan.
I know.
You have to get in your gear. Oh, man. Oh, and by the way, I saw the new Ricky Gervais special, Apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's on Netflix. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. I don't know. We're going to get to it today. We'll talk about it on Friday if we don't get to it.
My daughter watched it with me. And
oh, wow. Okay. Well, save it. Yeah. Save it.
I'm just saying there's one part in there. It's like, I should not be watching this with my daughter.
All right, Alan, are you ready?
Yes.
Chris and Alan's best of 2023. Do you have yours prepared or do you want me to share?
You want me to go first?
Why don't you go first since I went last time?
Okay. Let me share my screen. All right. So listen, this is my best of 2023. So if you don't like it, I don't care. It's mine.
All right. Let's go.
I'm just prepping you.
Make sure to scroll down so that it goes over the banner so we can see it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
What's at number 5?
Number 5, Maestro.
Okay.
In fact, I'm yeah. Okay. I won't make commentaries about it just yet, but biopic, written, directed by stars Bradley Cooper. To me, just a masterpiece in terms of just an actor acting. The music overlaying it is brilliant, and it's a very unique and odd story. And it's probably the weirdest love story you're going to see all year. So Maestro. Number 4, John Wick 4. This has been on my list for a very long time. I think it's just a masterpiece of action. I will say the car chase in the middle of the movie, the overhead gunfight, and then the battle on the stairs. It just sent it over the top for me. I love this movie. I will watch it many times. It's a work of art. Let's just say that. Number 3, The Iron Claw. Yeah, it's just a heartbreaking movie. It's a story about brothers. I think Zac Efron is great. I think when it comes to family, this movie hits all the right things. So before I get to number 2 and 1, I should let you know, for the second year in a row, my daughter and I have agreed on the same best movie of the year.
What?
Yeah. So here we go. Let's go to number 2, and it's Godzilla -1.
Wait, what?
What? How can this be? I took my daughter to see Godzilla -1 the other day. She loved it. It's her number 3 movie of the year. Mine is number 2. Honestly, after seeing Godzilla -1, I don't care about all the other Godzilla movies. I don't care to see the next one. The Godzilla and Kong.
Oh, the Godzilla Kong just looks stupid.
And it's just
objectively stupid.
It's just sad that it comes out now, or it's coming out in a few months after this one. To me, the story of the kamikaze pilot is the thing that kind of grips you throughout this whole thing. And then you have this is what I think they were truly going for in that first Godzilla, and they brought it here. And then my favorite movie of the year, along with my daughter's favorite movie of the year, is...
Wait, you agree on number 1, you and your daughter?
Yes, we agree on number 1.
Okay.
The number 1 movie of the year is American Fiction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we just saw it last night. We went to the theater, went to see it. And my daughter midway through hugs me and says, "I love this movie." It's not only is it fantastic satire, not only is it satire for today, for the conversation about race that's going on today, this is perfect satire. But then there's this family story behind it, just like Godzilla -1 and Iron Claw. There's just a family story behind it that is so touching. And this is a movie that just hits the heart and the head at the same time. And like I said, I think this is an important movie for everyone to see today, especially if you're concerned about the way race relations are going in the world today. This is the film.
Well, I hope it's in wide release. It's such an important, because it's like there's a lot of films that involve race like this, the American Society of. See, now I'm saying it like
now you're afraid to say
like Eric July. To ask Gary to send me that video so I can play it on my channel if Eric July doesn't mind. But that movie just looks awful. That looks so terrible.
Yeah, weirdly that trailer played before American Fiction. And I remember watching it, wondering, what the hell is this movie about?
Who is it for? But American Fiction just completely mocks progressives and their impression of how they think Black people should be. And I love it. It's biting social satire. And Jeffrey Wright, I just have always loved him as an actor. He's really good as Commissioner Gordon in, The Batman.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right.
Now it's Rustin. He's very good in Rustin as well.
Yep. I've got my list, Alan. You ready?
Okay.
Let's see how much we cross over here. So here's my best and worst. I'll just have to scroll down here. Best of 2023. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A movie you may have forgotten. Can you see that? Shoot. I got to scroll up. Okay.
Can you make it bigger?
No, here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
No, now you're just revealing.
Dang it. Okay. Landscape with Invisible Hand, which is a movie that probably people don't remember. It's a science fiction film about a dystopian future that is more of a commentary on the present as we spiral towards socialism. And it's also about art, and it's about YouTube, even, if you can believe that, and how much you reveal on social media. I really love this film. It was a total surprise. I'm going to increase the size of the font here so I can maybe present this in a better way. But I completely love that movie. It's also just like very no. No. Okay. Stop sharing screen. Stop. I'm going to remove for a second. But we both gave it, I think, a really good review.
Yeah.
It's just it's very unique. I love how much I love like indie science fiction. I'm a big fan of like that. It's a great way to, tell, comment on current society and what's going on.
Yeah. I didn't do my honorable mentions, but my sci-fi indie was The Pod Generation.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm going to fix this for a second.
Both are great films. And
yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, Alan. I'm just getting this. I got to get this set up here so I can do this. All right. So number 5, Landscape with Invisible Hand. Strongly recommend it. See that film. It's pretty dark and depressing. My number 2 on my list is American Fiction. Number 4 on my list is American Fiction. I think it has one of the best performances with Jeffrey Wright. We talked about it. It's really a fantastic film. So it's on my top 5.
Yes.
Right? It's funny. A lot of our top 5 kind of cross over. So Landscape with Invisible Hand, American Fiction. At number 3, The Iron Claw.
You're revealing your whole thing.
No, I'm not. I'm trying.
Yes, you are. I know what your number 2 is now.
Okay. All right. Iron Claw. I had the same reaction that you did. I just really love the Iron Claw. It's one of those biopics that seems like it's from another time. The music in it is fantastic. It's a story that outside of wrestling, a lot of people do not know. So I do recommend, if you're unaware of the story of the Von Erich brothers, that you avoid researching it or looking up YouTube videos about it. Just see the movie first and then watch the, more of the real story. But I loved Iron Claw. Number 2 on my list, and it's because this movie, for something to be on a worst and a best list for me, it's got to be a movie that I can't stop thinking about. Like a movie that and this movie I ended up seeing when I first saw it, I did not like this film. I thought, why is this not working for me? Saw it a second time, loved it. Saw it a third time and was just moved. And that is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, I thought was, I know. Some people are not going to agree with me, but upon repeated viewings, the movie gets even better. I think it's an important film for our time. And I just loved it. And it's a perfect pairing for my number 1 on my top movies of 2023, which is Godzilla -1 at number 1. I've seen it now 4 times. I've seen it 4 times now, and it also is one of those films that gets better and better upon repeated viewings. And when I saw it the first time, I thought, wow, this is amazing. But I didn't think on a top list. I'm like, well, because it's a Godzilla film. But truly, it's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. I remember when you saw it before I did, and you gave it the stellar review. So I believe
what I said was, white people, your movies suck.
Why'd you have to go there, Alan? Why'd you have to go there with me? But these are my top 5 films for 2023. And they're all films that are important, but they're not luxury. Landscape with Invisible Hand is not like any science fiction you've ever seen. And that movie kind of came and went, but I can't stop thinking about it. I ended up buying it on video on demand. Now, I do have honorable mentions. So let me get to my honorable mentions. And some of them are on your list. Honorable mentions for me are Talk to Me, John Wick Chapter 4, Poor Things, Past Lives, The Boy and the Heron, Dream Scenario, Air, Tetris, Mad Heidi, Sisu, a movie you probably forgot, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Now, one thing I want you to notice about my honorable mentions, I want you to notice one thing. Not one superhero movie. Not one superhero film.
These are John Wick Chapter 4 wouldn't count?
I mean, it's an action movie. Yeah. I'm just saying these are all movies that are worthwhile. They're films that I just had very good experience seeing, and they're films that have stayed with me. Stayed with me.
Yeah, let me give you my honorable mentions.
Do you have an honorable mentions? All right. Could you share screen with yours?
I don't have them written down. I'll just go over it.
Okay,
the Holdovers. The Holdovers was one.
Okay.
Radical, Sound of Freedom, The Pod Generation, and Naya.
Oh.
Yeah, Sound of Freedom.
I mean, yes, Sound of Freedom also made my list because it's a movie I forgot. You know what? I should remember that because it's actually currently playing on Amazon Prime. It's just part of Prime.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Here's another thing. But for the most part, not a lot of CG in our movies, in our top.
Yeah, movies. If you look at this list of movies, with the exception of maybe John Wick Chapter 4,
and
Dream Scenario's got a little
Godzilla -1.
Yeah, there's not a lot of CG in these films. These are just solid movies. So there you go. Those are our lists for good or bad. We've got a lot of comments here, and we have a special guest that's going to be joining us, so don't leave. Our special guest, Alex Hyde-White, Mr. Fantastic from Roger Corman's Fantastic Four movie. He's going to be here in about 10 minutes. Yeah. So there you go. But let's go through your chat.
Hold on. But let me say this about no CG in our movies, in our top movies. It means you can make it for a reasonable price. You can make great movies at a decent price and make money at it. The studios can make a profit with these movies.
All right. Sorry there. A little cough. Hey, Yellow Flash is lurking in the chat. I wish I could see it. They are only playing it in like 7 theaters. Is that true?
Yeah, in Orange County, it's in 2 theaters.
You're talking about American Fiction, to be clear. Yeah. Why is it not playing in wide release? It's probably because they only care about awards consideration. So it plays in New York and LA. So it's limited release. Then it's going to go wide.
No. It's worse than that. It's playing for awards, and then it's going to Amazon.
Oh, you're kidding. All right. Well, Yellow Flash, you can see it on Amazon along with Sound of Freedom. But you will get to see it, Yellow Flash, and I really want your opinion on it. It's the antithesis. It's kind of a middle finger to a lot of progressive nonsense.
Yeah.
And I think you'll dig it. I think you'll dig it. All right, there's a lot of super chats here, so let's get through them, folks. Darth Racer 777 for 10. The Sound of Freedom and Godzilla 1 were the best films I saw in 2023. Can't argue with that. Everything else I just got looked at on free streaming. Same for me in 24. I'll see Dune Part 2 in the theater. Everything else free. Fair enough. Fair enough. Murdoch 86 for 5 says, is Monarch Legacy of Monsters on your worst lists? Terrible show, waste of the Russells. It is. I did a TV list. I'll talk about it on Friday, actually, because we're behind. But on Friday is going to be kind of a chill stream. We'll talk about, you know what? We'll do best and worst TV on Friday. How about that? Fair?
Well, you will. My best list maybe we'll have 2 shows on it.
No. I literally have like 1 show on my best list so far because I sat there to make I was like, oh, I've got a lot for the worst list of TV. Then I went to make a best list and I could only think of 1 show.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 2, actually 2. Sorry. I forgot 1. But yeah, no, it's bad. It is bad. Thank you, Murdoch 86. Jason Webster says for 5 says my choices for best films of 2023 number 5 is a tie, Sound of Freedom and Past Lives. Oh, I'm glad you saw Past Lives. Number 4, Smugglers. Number 3, Next Sohi. Number 2, Monster. And number 1, Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1 getting a lot of love. Ken Bogus, member for 17 months, says my favorite film of the year, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Godzilla -1 is my number 2. Sorry, Alan. I love Haley Atwell. Fair. That's fair. No one's going to argue.
Yeah, no. Everyone loves Haley Atwell.
Dan C for 5, who's also a member, says, just say the American Society of Magical Negronis. It's a film about cocktails. So there you go. By the way, my good friend Dante James, friend of the channel, frequent, rotating guest. He loves Negronis as a drink. Sometimes I have to order it for him when we're at a bar and we're just hanging out.
Yeah. Well, you know that my
pick
knee
up a round of drinks.
You know, my knee has been hurting for at least like 4 months. I've been walking around like on a cane and crutch.
Right.
But I will say my knee grows stronger every day.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is.
I stole that from SNL. Just
okay. So that is the joke of the year. I mean, it's a
I stole it.
joke.
I will not claim to it. I stole that one.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I love it. Red French Moon for €5 says, bonjour. Napoleon was a low point of the year for me, and mainly for Joaquin Phoenix bad take and the poor rhythm. Historical error only added to it. Well, I think you can see like it's neither on Alan and our worst or best list. It's on neither. So there you go.
Yeah.
MK Solid.
Like it was cool to watch, but right. I wouldn't watch it again.
Right. MK Solid 82 says, Chris, watch the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith trailer. And he has a laughing and crying emoji. Is that a real thing that exists?
Yeah, it's Donald Glover and I forget the other girl's name. She's from Pen 15.
Wait, but this is not the old film from 2005.
No, it's a new one.
So they're rebooting this?
Yeah. I can't.
Is it a movie or a series?
Is it a movie? I have no idea. But the thing was that the reason the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith was cool was because it starred Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
It says it's a series coming in 2024.
Yeah.
Season 1 teaser.
Yeah. Is it Peacock or is it?
It's set to premiere in February 2024. I see the trailer. Watch it later. I don't want to get we've been getting copyright claims lately, and we just honestly can't afford that. So I
guess it's on Amazon.
It'll be on Amazon. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah. Well, my point is, these trailers for Mr. and Mrs. There used to be a time where stars drew, and when you have Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie as your stars, everyone went to see it. Everyone cared to see the trailer. This one, let's just face it, that we got two minor stars here.
Let's see. A few more comments here. Our special guest will be joining us momentarily. Thanato Foric for $4.99. Anyone else think John Wick 4 was too long? Otherwise, excellent. If there's one big criticism of John Wick 4, it is too long. I do think it's too long. You could have cut it down. The thing is, it didn't feel long, but it didn't need to be that long. Didn't need to be.
But it's still great.
Yep. Red French Moon for €5 says Sisu and Mad Heidi following your recommendation, and I had such a fun time. Mad Heidi, absurd but coherent world was hilarious and frightening. Yeah, I liked it. I thought that, and I mean, the lead actress is like naked in the very first scene, and you know how Alan feels about that.
Play it.
What can I get for you, sir?
A boob. At least one.
Great choice.
What is that?
Yeah. To say she was naked, I just, it's like saying Sydney Sweeney was naked in Anyone But You.
Well, let's break it down, Alan. Tell us more.
Oh, you're gonna play it, or
no?
I already told you the qualification. There's one qualification for being naked in a movie, and that's a boob, at least one.
Well, there you go. All right, that's Alan Ng's.
I don't know how you could, naked is a very specific definition for me. That's
all right, that's fair. It's fair. It's fine. Prince L-E-N for $5. If you're a fan of indie sci-fi movies, look up the 1992 space movie. It's priceless. You can thank the boys on The Real BBC for the recommendation. I have never heard of this film.
Yeah, I heard him talk about it.
What's it called? 1992 space movie. Oh, wow. It pops right up. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I just looked it up. I can't even tell you what the actual title of this movie is. It is a sci-fi comedy series. Is it a BBC thing? I've never heard of it. I'm a big fan of Red Dwarf. I used to own like all the seasons of it on VHS back in the 90s. But this is a real thing. Should I share screen? I don't think I should.
I found it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, let's keep the mystery a mystery.
Just Google 1992 space movie, and I cannot say out loud what that is.
So it's a Danish film? It's a Danish comedy.
Yeah.
Starring, directed by Morten Lindberg.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, you look that up. I am going to avoid it. I'm just going to avoid it. Thank you.
You're going to watch it.
Now I'm very curious. Sean Hu for $7.42. Since it will return to theaters, does that mean Amelie will be eligible for 2024's list? No, we don't. Films that are re-released, you judge a film based on the year in which it was originally released. Some films age better with time, others do not. I will say Amelie is one of my favorite French films. I think in terms of romantic films, it's one of my favorites. But it's not eligible next year for anything, technically. So, but it's one of my all-time favorites. It was my favorite film in the year in which it was released, which was the early 2000s. I want to say, what year was Amelie originally released? I'm going to look it up. It was 2001 was Amelie. 2001. So there you go. Probably one of my favorite films of that year. It was very unique. Very unique. And they're re-releasing a lot of films because theaters are in trouble. Can you read this one, Alan?
Yes. Can you have Alan say bodacious tatas and then clip it? Sure. I just did. I just did.
Well, thank you for that, Red Pilled Rants for $4.99. Nicholas Vargo. Hey, Nicholas, I did not end up going to see It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I ended up running errands in LA and went to a bar, ran into some people I knew. I was going to be late, and so my apologies for that.
Wow.
There are 2 bars in Hollywood that I'll go to, just so you know, next time you're at the Egyptian. Michelli's, which is Italian food, which is very good Italian food. And the other one is Jameson's. Jameson's has like a $15 all-you-can-eat steak during happy hour. They have 2-for-1 drinks. Jameson's is not directly across the street, but on the opposite side of the street of the Egyptian. So not sure if you ended up going to It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. But thank you, Nicholas Vargo. Always enjoyed chatting with you. Let's hear Nicholas Vargo's top 5 for 2023. Number 5, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Number 4, Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 3, Past Lives. Number 2, Oppenheimer. And number 1, The Holdovers. Good stuff this year. There is good stuff, but here's what's weird about it. There's crossover in our lists, but the movies are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get consensus. There's not a huge amount of consensus that Oppenheimer is a film that, it didn't make your list.
Yeah.
But, and I'm saying that amongst critics that talk, right? Like there's just not a lot of consensus.
Yeah.
So there you go. But Nicholas, thank you for the list. It's a good list. I think all of those. Oh, wow. I forgot Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, me too.
Just a movie.
I mean, I didn't forget it. I just knew it wasn't going to make my list.
Not on my top, but maybe on honorable mention. I do like Scorsese. Thank you for that. Another comment here. SP of the North. Just discovered this Sydney Sweeney person. My goodness gracious. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, she's very good in Anyone But You, a movie that Alan did not like as much as I did, but that's fine. That's fair. So, I'll take it. But there you go. All right. As we wrap up, any other comments or like Alan? I gotta actually, you know what? I gotta do a quick.
We're not installing these things.
Okay. I am gonna be right back. So please keep reading. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me. So I'm trying to find the ones we haven't gone there. I think Chris has gone through all of these. Let's see. Sorry, I'm okay. Yeah, Chris doesn't like to unstar his comments. Yeah, let's do this. Hey, Toro. Alan, here's a bad joke. Chris walks into a bar. Bartender asks him, "Do you want a drink?" Yeah, that happens a lot. Let's see. MK Soldier 82. Sydney Sweeney is so little too. She's tiny. And then to follow that up, Booby Bobber, bodacious. Let's see. Did we get to Solomon Thornton? Okay, here's Solomon Thornton's top 5. Number 5 is Oppenheimer. Number 4, The Boy and the Heron. Number 3, John Wick 4. Number 2, Iron Claw. And number 1, Godzilla -1. Yes. Boy and the Heron is just not on my list. I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay, here we go. From Rumble, from Caveat Ties, a supporter. So we got, he's just not, Miss Peacock, if you can help star some of these, that'd be helpful. While I unstar the rest of them. Here we go. Here's a super chat. Red Pilled Rants for $1.99. What do you guys think of the Scorsese film Hugo? Actually, we'll save that one because I've not seen that one. So let me. Sorry to do all this. I'm gonna restart that. Richard Curtis for 10 British pounds. The Flash could just make my top 5. It's better than Spider-Man: No Way Home in my not very popular opinion. Yeah, I know. I actually like Flash very much. And again, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I'm not that up on Flash lore. I know him from Super Friends, and I know he runs fast. And quite frankly, I just don't care enough to follow the lives of celebrities, no matter how crazy they are. Let's see. SP of the North says Hugo wasn't as good as Scorsese's Melvin. Let's see. The Garth Knight Rises Uber B-Man. Cindy Sweeney was mentioned, so Chris had to have some private tingle time real quick. Oh, yeah. So Chris will be back in 10 seconds. Let's see. And we'll just keep going.
Yeah, you got to say my name 3 times, and then I did have to actually I make a run here.
Special tingle time.
But we're wrapping up these comments here. Just a few more, and our special guest will be joining us momentarily. You read that one? Did you read that one?
I didn't. No,
okay. Lean back, have a snack, take a nap for 10. Says, have you seen the 2003 documentary Touching the Void? Story of 2 hikers recounting their survival story while climbing in the Peruvian mountains. Great movie. Love the show, guys. Happy New Year. I have seen that from way back in the day. It's fantastic and heartbreaking and shocking. So there you go. Tom Siebert says Cowboy Bebop returning to theaters in January. That's a 4-star sci-fi action animation film. Such a wonderful follow-up to the classic TV series. If it comes back to theaters, I will go see it. And Richard Curtis for 10 pounds says The Flash could just make my top 5. It was better than Spider-Man: No Way Home in my not very popular opinion. You know what? You like what you like. That's totally fair. And Thanato Forex for $4.99. Home theater, quick screen to DVD intervals, excessive CGI, etc. aside, cinemas are doomed because general appeal no longer cuts it. Sad. But true. Nicholas Vargo for $9.99. Hey, shame you missed it. I did go to Michelli's and had spaghetti extraordinary. The screening was spectacular. Got pics with Karen Kramer and Barry Chase. We'll have to talk to you in person about it. Let me know when you're going to go up to the Cinematheque again. You don't have to twist my arm too hard, to go there. But yeah, I always either go to Michelli's or I go to Jameson's. And I remembered that Jameson's has happy hour. So it's 2-for-1 drink. So I ended up going to Jameson's, ran into a bunch of friends, chatted. And then it got late and then I missed it. But dang. But thank you, Nicholas. Thank you so much. I will run into it at another screening. And our final comment here, Alistair Campbell says, check out the other films from the director of Amelie. Yes, they're fantastic. Delicatessen, City of Lost Children, and Alien Resurrection, his only Hollywood film, and Micmacs. So there you go. And Delicatessen, I think, is that the movie that got him the job on Alien Resurrection? I'm not quite sure. But there you go. All right. We have a very special guest joining us today, which I am so ecstatic that he's joining us on the channel. We have to do an introduction here for a moment. Is that a good pick? We have a background here. Well, covered it up. But I have been a fan of the Fantastic Four since I was a kid. I consider the Fantastic Four my gateway comic book. The adventures of a super powered family that had nicknames, not really secret identities. At its heart, it is a story of a family with the patriarch of the family, Reed Richards, a big nerd and scientist, who's in love with the lovely Sue Storm, whose brother Johnny Storm can burst into flames. I don't need to tell you. His close friend Ben Grimm, a master pilot, and the most accurate incarnation of the Fantastic Four from the Stan Lee Jack Kirby run of the first 100 comics is the early 90s version made from Roger Corman Studios. I read the script. I hung out on the set because I knew the special effects makeup artist from the company Optic Nerve. I was so excited, and Film Threat back then did a cover story. I'm going to show it right here. Did a cover story of the Fantastic Four. This is a photo shoot that we did with the cast of the Fantastic Four. You can see Alex Hyde-White is right here. There you go, as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. It's the most accurate incarnation of the Fantastic Four we've ever seen on screen. I also happen to own, and I was in the documentary Doomed about the making of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. Additionally, that movie, you can see that Doomed on Amazon Prime. You can find it, the Blu-ray of the movie. It exists. You can get it, folks. And I recommend adding this to your collection. Alex Hyde-White's new book, fantastic. It's My Life in Film and TV by Alex Hyde-White. This is a copy of the book. I did not realize how many movies and TV shows Alex has been in. You know him from the Fantastic Four, but he has been in so many TV shows and films. Let's welcome to the show, Alex Hyde-White. How you doing, Alex? Good to see you.
Hey, Chris. Who you got riding shotgun with you?
Oh, that's Alan Ng.
Hey, Alan.
Hi. Good to meet you.
Great to have you here, Alex. You're of late, you've been doing a lot of voice work, voice acting, and you voice also audio books as well.
Yeah.
I hope at some point there'll be an audible version of your book and your story here. But before I have to ask you Fantastic Four related questions. And
Sure,
to everyone watching, we have over 1,000 people watching us live on YouTube right now. So post your questions and comments for Alex. How did you book this gig for the Fantastic Four? And did you know the characters and the comic book from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby?
Working backwards. Yes, I was familiar like everyone. I mean, even there was a Saturday cartoon. I was a real Johnny Quest fan. So I sort of just did a Race Banyan, Reed Richards kind of character, compare and contrast. I wasn't a real comic book kid growing up, so I went into it, having done a couple of Roger Corman films. I went into it with confidence, but you're an independent film guy, and we're thankful for it. When there's only 2 or 3 people who are in the room who can make the decision, and it's an indie film, there's a greater sense of ownership to the project by the creatives. And if a guy walks in and he's right, he can walk out with the job. And you add to that the time constraint that they had, and it was just one of those right place, right time. I was very prepared. The thing about Reed that I sort of instinctively had was there's no such thing as over preparation. Just be ready and sort of quite literally expand, do what you need to carry the scene, and sort of take over in a way. Sometimes in TV, when it's more people like writers and a lot of people involved in the decision, they don't want an actor to come in and kind of take over, kind of feel that it's either that he can only do it one way. But in this particular instance, I think they were happy to have somebody who just had a grasp of not only the character, but the kind of film it needed to be to get made.
Well, you've also worked with, you worked with Oli Sasson and Roger Corman on this film that my memory of it was done over the holidays. It was, it felt like it was rushed, but you had to make it by a certain time. But every person, yeah. Just one thing, every person on the set was a huge fan. There was people put their heart and soul from every department, just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, some more so than others, but you know, it was a project that really required leadership, and you know, to this day, Rebecca specifically and the others sort of just say that they were hoping to look to Reed. And you know, I'm the kind of actor, I really enjoy film acting. I enjoy kind of being independent film. I enjoy working on short ends. The old days when you had 35 mil or 16 millimeter film and you only had like, you know, 250 feet of it, you had to hurry and you had to get it right, you know? So it's almost like sport in a way. It adds that sort of live element, that exciting element to it. And that's where the charm in these performances comes in, because we're really going moment to moment. We're not weighted down by expectations, which might have, you know, very difficult to do in the Marvel universe. It's become so expectation heavy now that you look back on this little film, which really wasn't much then. It was not only ahead of its time, but I don't think it was good enough technically to compete in any sort of real sense. But over time, you look back, and especially people who are now in influence, such as yourself, you look back and you said, you know what, this little movie got it right, and that was a hard thing to sort of capture, but it was well cast, you know, and Roger entrusts his filmmakers. He let Ole, you know, either take the credit or take the blame.
Right. Well, it's just, it had the heart. That's what I think is missing from a lot of modern superhero films, is it had heart. And I think that shone through, because I think when you see that a film has heart and the right intentions, you might overlook any budgetary restraints.
Yeah,
we have,
yeah,
and
you're
also,
right. We're sort of back in that way now with so much content on these streaming channels. A lot of these films are you know, low budget films, and I think the audience now over the last decade or so is a much more forgiving audience for smaller projects. You know, it's like almost there's an acceptance bar that hasn't, I wouldn't say the bar's been lowered, but it's okay. I mean, I think that creatively there is not much of a call for, I'd say, excellence, or certainly you know, flawless filmmaking. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. Even these wonderful films, these late films by Ridley Scott and Michael Mann, you know, you can't get better directors than that. You look at Napoleon, you go, okay, well, I thought it was about Napoleon. And you look, I went to Ferrari last night, Christmas, Boxing Day, a lovely film, but it's a small film, but it's meticulously made by Michael Mann. And you know, one sort of accepts things now in film because there's so much stuff out there. Whereas this film, I suppose it was cursed from the start, the original Fantastic Four, because no one ever had faith that it was going to live up to what it should be, you know?
well, we've got, and also it should be pointed out that you've worked with Steven Spielberg. You have, I mean, we're talking about your career, you know, having played Reed Richards, but you have been a consistent working actor for a long time.
Well,
So,
you know, when we met, I mean, that was when when was that? It was
92, maybe
92.
93.
Christmas of 92. They spent 93 sort of cutting the film and fighting over it. And we almost had it ready in 94 when Fox bought it and took it over the market. So we had a year and a half to talk about the film. And your, I guess your Film Threat was a pretty new venture, I think, for you at that time, wasn't it? That
Yeah, it was new at the time. I'm going to share a screen here, something that you may or may not remember, which was when I was there, I was in heaven watching like the movie get made. I was hanging out behind the scenes. I did a bit part in one of Corman's movies, Carnosaur. We covered that, but I was just like, oh my God, this is my gateway comic. It was Fantastic Four and Batman. When I see my collection of stuff in a room, I'm surrounded by it. It's Fantastic Four, Batman. But I was in heaven. I couldn't believe it. And then I was just like, I don't want to just do a good story. I want to do the definitive story, the making of this film. And we got the trailer. I remember we got the trailer on a VHS tape. It was a 2-hour looping trailer. And what we did was, at the San Diego Comic-Con, I think it was in 1993.
I
Diego
think so.
Comic-Con. Here's a picture. What's so funny is you're not in the picture.
Oh,
Here's this picture of the Film Threat booth from San Diego Comic-Con in 1993.
wow.
And there's Rebecca and wait, who's the guy who played Dr. Doom?
Joe Culp.
Yes.
Mike Smith, is that Joe Culp or Jay Underwood?
Yes,
back
yes.
there?
Joe Culp, yeah.
Yeah, wow. When was that? Would have been in August of '93.
Yeah, July '93.
Gosh, I remember you guys going down there. I don't know if I went there or not. I might have been working on something, but I remember that. And then you did a cover story for us that I took on the road. You know, it's look. I mean, yeah. Well, look. I saw you mention my book in the volume. Okay, it's a wonderful phrase, in the volume, my life in film and TV. It's become a way. It's almost like being in the shot now. They call for digital filmmaking, for motion capture, you're in the volume. So I learned it by basically when I was finished with my scene at Tintin, the AD said, "Okay, Alex, you can step out of the volume now because they need the bandwidth for." So if you're not in the shot anymore in mocap, you step out of the volume. And I thought that's a wonderful phrase. Like in politics, they say you're in the arena. That, you know, it gives a meta point of view to this crazy world of filmmaking, of trying to catch stardom in a bottle. And we did it with this silly film in a backwards way, simply because of the enthusiasm that you included, because you were a major part of this, the way the film was being told, the enthusiasm that we had then, but you know, the clarity and the longevity, and we're still at it now. We look back and say, you know, yeah, thank you for pointing out that I've worked with Spielberg a few times. I got in with Dustin Hoffman. I mean, the list of people I've worked with is expansive. I'm thankful for it. It's like I was a witness. I was almost like a Forrest Gump in some movies. You know, I was a witness to wonderful cinematic triumphs. And you balance those with the personal struggles that we all go through to try to maintain a life, being a creative who lives and, you know, hopefully doesn't die, but the ebbs and flows of fortune, you know. And I just thought in the volume is the phrase that it really works for me. And it was so great going back over 3 years. The last half were COVID years of just chronicling. You know, I used my IMDb page as a roadmap, and I had a wonderful sense of recall. And 2 chapters of the book are devoted to Fantastic Four. You know, one is the actual sort of making of it, and then the second one, I think the chapter of this, the heading of the chapter is "Print the Myth," because that's what happened. What is it? The old Western phrase, you know, the old tombstone phrase: when the fact becomes the myth, you print the myth. You know, and that's what happened to this film. And there's really no film that we can remember that has this sort of place in cinematic history, you know?
Well, it's first of all, I have to let you know there's almost 1,000 people watching us live right now, and director Oli Sasan is watching.
Hi, Oli.
Hey, hey, Oli, thank you so much. Your kindness, your enthusiasm, your optimism, your passion. You may or may not remember me on the set, but I was the gangly, skinny kid, nerd, you know, younger version of me. And just got to say, Oli, you were awesome. You shared with me storyboards. I got to see so much stuff. You were so kind. Says, hey, Alex and Chris watching now. So Oli, thank you for that. And we have a lot of the chat is on fire with questions and comments for you, Alex. Oli, if you want to say something else, let us know. We'll star your comment.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oli, okay, good. You remember me. Like, well, yeah. Well, I was in the documentary Doomed. I know the filmmaker who made that doc, and just like the fact that this movie is kind of become a legendary. And when everyone assesses all the other Fantastic Four movies, everyone says this is the best one. They really haven't captured the characters.
If it wasn't for Oli sneaking a VHS master out of the back door of the film lab before the guy came, we wouldn't be talking.
Right, exactly. Like that was so smart. If you don't mind, there are comments and questions. We'll get through them here if you want to do this. Ungoy Boy for 5 says my first live action superhero film was the Fantastic Four. I watched it at my friend's house, whose father is Jay Underwood. Best experience ever. Jay Underwood, who played Johnny Storm.
Pastor Jay. He's a pastor in Burbank, California.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
A lot of actors are in the old days. A lot of actors were from clergy, families of clergy, because the clergy would perform. You know, they'd have a good script, and it's interesting to see Jay sort of renewing that connection. He's a lovely guy, talented fella.
And Oli says, hey, this is Alex's gig. He has it covered. Well, Oli, if you ever want to come on the show, open invitation, reach out to us through Film Threat. Our email is on there. So you can, Jackson Cagle says, stretchy high fives, sir, which is great. There you go. And then here we go. Sons and Shadows, still the best Fantastic Four movie made to date.
Well, I'm on the right show.
And then we're on the show where people actually pay attention to indie films.
Yeah,
so
no, I've done 2 of these.
It
came out, and this is a good one. Oli's tried to call in before. You're the first one who let him in, so thank you.
All right. DJD620 says, I was on that set. Oli Sesson is a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
well, there you go. And question here from SP of the North. Alex, what do you think of the recent iterations of the Fantastic Four?
You know, it's like the Texas Rangers. They get in the World Series every 20 years. Finally, they had a good team. It's because they got Corey Seager, who was an LA Dodger. So I don't know. I mean, they keep trying. Last year, the Hollywood Reporter asked me what I thought of John Krasinski as Reed, and I said, well, I mean, I guess Reed with a beard. I mean, he's a talented fella. John Krasinski is a good storyteller, but he must have got afraid of it, or somebody told him don't go near it. There's a theory going out there that we're actually thinking about getting some crowd support, that this is a cursed franchise, maybe, and it might sort of be because of the way they treated Oli. I mean, thank you for Oli. This is my gig, but this is Oli's world, that he was the one who put this together. He was the one who was on the line. If it had been a success, it would have been all of our success. And Oli's the one who deserves it. No, look, Oli's not finished. He's a talented writer. He's a talented filmmaker with a heck of a story to tell. But, first of all, there really isn't a recent version of Fantastic Four. Look, here's the bottom line. It's very difficult to tell a cinematic story with 4 lead characters. Okay. Mm-hmm. You know, even the Magnificent Seven had Steve McQueen, Yul Brynner, and a young Charles Bronson, and then 4 guys named Joe. So
right. Super chat here from Eric Stratton for 777 says, Mr. Alex, I just bought your book. Another great interview, Chris and Alan. Well, that's great.
You, well, yeah, if you're a fan of movies or of the tales of triumph and failure, you'll enjoy my book. Thank you.
Oh, I love this question. Bob Garland asks, Alex, would you ever do a cameo as a multiverse version of Reed Richards? Would be honorable for Marvel to give you and the cast some recognition after decades of disowning the film.
Well, you know, I'll be very expensive and I'll be very difficult. So that's up to them.
I think that would be great. If they do Secret Wars or something, that would be awesome to bring in multiverse versions of everyone.
You know, or just have Reed Richards age 64, who's in pretty good shape. And then cameos, cameos are fun. They have an app now where you can do a cameo and people pay $5 and you can say happy birthday. So I would like to play a nice part in a big film. And I've done it a few times. If it happens to be something that pays homage to this mythical character of Reed in this mythical film of Fantastic Four, that helps Marvel sort of go down an uncharted path, then yes, I'm your guy. I don't know really if I'm interested in, handing out a paper as the camera moves by saying, oh, you missed it. Come
on. From Rumble, Ololiquid I can't pronounce the name. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
He's got to
Apologies.
keep spelling that one out for us.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I know we've done it before, but my apologies. A question for Alex. Doomed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Doomed was a wonderful and melancholy documentary. Great to see the experience didn't completely sour you on the industry and the craft.
No, and it's an interesting word, melancholy. I felt there was something with that it should have been a little even more uplifting. Yes, it was a good expose. I just wish they'd given Roger a bit more credit. And in that sense, yes, it is a little melancholy. Look, actors and writers, you know what I mean? There's just something a little bittersweet there. But actors deal with the risk of failure all the time. And that is that's what you have to process. And they say there's some sort of actor stuff in my book, like, because I used to get quite, how do you handle the rejection? And Chris, you don't handle the rejection. You just, it's like getting hit with a tennis ball at close range. Oh, there it is again. And after a while, you either see it coming or it stops hurting so much. But you live for the moments that work for you. And sometimes one gets very happy when something happens, and the contrast to that is sometimes you can get very sad. I mean, look at this world we're living in. Wonderful young successful people, they don't wake up one morning and it turns out that they've had just difficult life. And so melancholy is a good word, but it's a word that we should try to reserve for maybe Michael Mann and Ferrari. Let's be in the business to help people and help each other. And that's, if there's some way about the Fantastic Four ever coming to life, it's going to be a story. It's going to be an uplifting tale. It's the little film that shouldn't. And maybe there's a movement going on that there might be some sort of open letter. It's a crazy idea, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, let's see. We've got so many more questions here. We'll get through them. But here's an interesting one. Castigan says, any stories or memories about Biggles? I mentioned at the stream, big fan since childhood in England.
Yes. Well, thank you. Yeah, that was my first lead role. And it was 1984 in England. And it was a wonderful sort of time travel. It was a bit like the Back to the Future. Modern day American gets thrown back to World War I and is in the trenches. And you look back on it now, and it's a quintessential sort of it was 85, late 80s London. And I loved it. I was born in London and I spent a little time there as a kid. But to go back, being number 2 on the call sheet to Neil Dixon, and it ended up being Peter Cushing's final film. And again, it was one of these films, like I was talking earlier, there were expectations that weren't met. So the producers of the film, and some people considered it a bit, well, it wasn't as successful as it should have been. But it was similar to our film in a way that corners were cut. But what is there is a wonderful Dudley Do Right kind of plucky film with helicopters and trenches, and it was a fun time to be able to carry a film as an action lead, and it helped prepare me for later in my career. But which sort of all galvanized when Ole and Steve Rabiner, who's the producer, called my manager or my agent and offered me Reed. It all coalesced. So Biggles was a good stepping stone, and it's a fun film.
Let's see some just a few more questions here for you. I know we're going over the time that I said originally, but if you don't mind, Solomon Thornton, who's a member, asks, "Hello, Sir Alex, aka Sir Richard." It means Reed Richards. What was the best moment of filming the Fantastic Four? Your Reed Richards is the best.
There were 2 days, and I recalled it in the book, when we were on the mountaintop where sort of overlooking Simi Valley, Santa Susana Range, and it was before the houses were built up there. So it was a couple of night shoots. It's a sequence in the film right after the ship crashes, and we're first made aware of what's happening to us. And Sue Storm does the disappearing trick, and we all kind of sit around. And we were sitting around this campfire, and the lines were, you know, Jay as Johnny Storm is, come on, we got to do this. We got to do this. And I just remember saying to him, you hold on to that fire, Johnny. We're going to need it. And Ole said,
Right.
whoa, where'd that come from? I go, yeah, well, I mean, it was right here, wasn't it? I don't even know if it was in the script. But it was just, you know, Chris, that night shoot, those 2 days were as good as any film anywhere. You're on location, you're lit. There's 35 millimeter film in the in the camera. You've got a good director. You've got people all being quiet, letting us do our work. That film set was as professional in those days as Gary Marshall's was for Pretty Woman, as Spielberg's was in Catch Me If You Can. And that's the wonderful leveling sort of equal playing field that film gives you, is that the camera doesn't lie. And it's good if you're sort of telling the truth as well, you know, and it was just a very freeing couple of days. And that was just a high point, not only of that film, but of my memories as an actor, were those 2 days on the set up in the at the night shoots.
Wow. More questions here. Ron Smith says, is it true that the stars tried to promote the Fantastic Four movie with their own money? I mean, I'll say this. I'll say this. This picture is from the Film Threat booth at San Diego Comic-Con in July 93, right before the magazine came out. We sold that weekend almost 2,000 copies of that one issue. And a lot of people were buying it a second time and getting the cast to sign it. I don't remember if you were there, though. Were you there?
Well, I think I was there. I don't know why I'm not in that picture.
I don't know why you're not in that picture, but you were there, because the following year we had such a huge line. If you remember, Alex, the line was so huge, we were blocking aisles. I got in trouble. The Film Threat booth at San Diego Comic-Con got in trouble, and they instituted a new rule the following year where you had to do signings in a particular place. You couldn't do signings just at individual booths. They had line management. So, but yeah, my recollection is you all were there, because I have a couple copies, I'll never get rid of them, of the issue of Film Threat signed. It's in my bagged long boxes, but
I still have you gave me a couple of dozen, or you gave me much more than that. I still have when I go to conventions. I'm living out in the Panhandle in Florida now, Pensacola, and they have a big fan convention here in February called Pensacon, and I did it last year, and I was surprised the number. A lot of people were there. I sold a lot of books, and I used your Film Threat magazine as a promo, and sign it as well. It was wonderful. But what did he ask?
Did you spend your own money to like?
Oh,
I mean, I think you just drove down.
Right. That's the chapter in the book, Print the Myth. I was given I was given 1,000 stills by Roger Corman, and if you know, well, we all know Roger. Ooh, that might have hurt a little bit, but he believed in the film. And he gave me, well, Alex, I can't play for your airfare, but I can give you some photographs. So we have those photos. And Michael Bailey Smith and I went to New York. And, you know, Chris, we did it the old-fashioned way. We barnstormed, and we called up a couple of comic book stores, and they paid us a guarantee to come for a few hours. And so whatever we made, $500 or $600, that's what we used to pay the airfare and a couple nights in the hotel. Wow. So you know, that's the way that's the way we could do it. Right. And it was the promotional tour of Fantastic Four that stuck, because so many people remember that aspect of it. Hey, even though the film was shelved, you guys still went on the road. Well, it hadn't been shelved yet.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Now, one thing about Reed Richards that he got into me was he's a pretty smart guy, and he's a bit of a gambler as well. And it just felt so natural that we take this step, because I kind of felt that we had a window of time while Ole was cutting the movie in good faith. Ole and I, and maybe others, but we kind of knew that the rug was going to be pulled. It quite possibly would be pulled, but that didn't stop us, you see. And quite often, especially these days, in this strike-plagued year that we've gone through, you know, it's if you can persevere and you're willing not necessarily to lose your own money to do something, but to risk it. And it was that important to us to go down swinging if we were going to go down, you know?
And also Jackson Cagle for $2 says, "Hold on to that fire" is a great line. So
Well,
there you go.
yes, you
And then
can use it in your short film.
SP of the North says, "What was your impression of Roger Corman's attitude towards the source material?"
Well, rather like Al Capone's attitude toward effective communication. You can do more with a smile and a gun than you can with a smile. So once Bernd Eichinger called him up and said, "Listen, I'll pay for everything. I just need to use your facility." I think Roger thought that was then a pretty good script. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And then,
I think the felony Sandifer, I think he'd written, I don't know if he'd written Carnosaur, but again, Roger had a very trusted tribe of folks that he worked with, going back to, you know, the early days, you know, John Sayles and Nicholson. You know, if you ever seen Roger there was a wonderful documentary made about 10 or 12 years ago that premiered at the Egyptian on a midnight screening at Sundance about Roger Corman's life. And actually, we weren't in it because we're the black sheep of the Roger Corman canon. But it was wonderful. And Roger and Julie were there. And I go to Sundance whenever I can. And I was actually there after the show and saw them. God bless him. He was, I don't know if he was late 70s then, but it was probably 10 years ago. And it was snowing. It was 2 a.m, but he, you know, he stayed and he had a wonderful time. So Roger is somebody who, he's a good judge of material, and he knows. I think when he read Fantastic Four, he felt that he was the right guy to do it. But it was also something very clever that Ole would attest to. He made sure that Ole could make this film in a releasable way, just in case, you know, because there was leverage there, okay? And the leverage obviously was Bernd Eichinger knew Constantine over Fox. Chris Columbus at the time had done Missed Outfire. And I think somebody said to him, "What do you want to do?" He says, "I want to do the Fantastic Four." And they all scratched their head and said, "What the heck's that?" And we got in there ahead of him. So everybody got out of it. They got out of it reimbursed. And Ole has yet really to cash his check on this film. And one of the reasons that I am happy again to talk about it is because I've been lucky. I've had lots of other things, but you know, a filmmaker deserves for justice in a way. And this is all because Roger thought, okay, it's not a bad script, you know.
well, my memory of it was when we were doing the booth at San Diego Comic-Con, and you so graciously, the whole cast was there signing. People were getting signed copies. You know, every actor signed it. My memory of it was we had this VHS, we had a TV and a VHS tape that they gave me, and it was 2 hours of the trailer on a loop.
Was it really? Yeah.
And I, to this day, cannot get it out of my head. It's an earworm that has not gone away. And they used music from like Battle Beyond the Stars, at least for the trailer. And all I remember was the jeweler who was supposed to be the mole man was, "The diamond is not for sale at any price." Like, it's still like in my head ingrained, that trailer.
Wonderful character actor. Ian Trigger was his name.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's doing another movie, but it's all right. We filmed it. We might as well use it. It was good stuff. It was funny. Yes, "The diamond is not for sale."
From Rumble, a quick comment here from Choo Choo Gone Poo. All right. "Where can I watch the Fantastic Four? I'm not finding it anywhere at the moment." It is available on Blu-ray. You can look it up. I have the Blu-ray. I think it's like $10. You can also get Alex's book on his website. I found your website. I'm gonna put that up just for a second here.
Okay. Thank you.
Just alexhyde-white.com. Right here, upcoming events, news about what Alex is doing and his career, all there. And the book as well. You can buy it right now. We'll put the link in the description for this episode. So check that out.
Don't have to go to my website for that. It's Amazon, and there's even an audiobook. It's out on Audible, Amazon, and as far as the movie, The Fantastic Four, I think it's probably up on YouTube, isn't it? In some scratch
I
some scratchy way.
believe you can find it. I mean, we could do some searches and look for it. But
You
yeah,
know.
my whole thing is I bought it from the guy who did Doomed. He
Right.
released the Blu-ray. I'll
Marty.
find it. I'll find it. Okay. But we have a couple more just I think one more question here for you before we let you go. No, wait.
Okay.
Wait, two more questions. Fletcher
Sure.
Williams, I Suck at Games channel for 199. What do you think about corporate taking over film? The industry has become much more corporatized and less driven towards creators. And we've seen it. We talk about it. You know, the industry has just become way more corporate. And where it used to be studio executives were like Roger Corman. Roger Corman understands movies. Roger Corman understands creative people. He understands creative people and creativity. But the industry's kind of been taken over by financiers and corporations. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I think what it's done is it's watered down the power of movies, because in the Time Warner empire, and I believe that Paramount, calling Paramount Global now, Paramount and Warner Brothers are in talks perhaps to merge, simply because they don't think they're big enough to compete with like Disney and Netflix. And so what's happened here now is individual movies matter less and less to the bottom line of these large conglomerates. And I mean, believe me, if a film is a flop, you never hear the end of it. If Maverick had not knocked it out of the park in that summer, last summer, you'd hear Tom Cruise is finished. Well, Maverick made $1 billion or whatever. But most films and most film divisions, they don't matter so much to the bottom line of these corporate entities. Whereas when Gulf and Western owned Paramount Pictures, great pride and great care and was given to Bob Evans, who was not unlike Roger. He took responsibility. So I think what's happened with the consolidation of storytelling, it's America's gross national product is exporting film and television, and it has been for a long time. But it's harder and harder for any one project to have a significant impact, because you're talking about companies now who measure revenue in the billions of dollars, you know? So I think some of the smaller companies that are still left, Lionsgate, or even you go to these distributors, the A24s, they have a personality to them that is sort of like the remnants. It used to be a Fox picture was different than a Warner Brothers picture or a Paramount, you know? So I suppose the short answer is a great sense of homogenization, which is a word I hope I never have to use again. But it's almost like making everything a bit of the same, you know. And that's one thing about Ferrari. I'll champion Michael Mann. It's a throwback. They're calling it's a 70s picture, and you'll appreciate this. What's 70s picture? Well, it's actually like we were talking before. It's sort of like wears its flaws proudly because it's human, you know. And this search to maximize the profit is very difficult to do on a creative endeavor, because there's part of a film that is supposed to be, it's the audience's part. It's their imagination. It's their experience that adds to the story. And when everything is so laid out, it's almost offensive. It undermines the value of audience. So,
it's led to just movies. We talk about it. Alan and I talk about it all the time. There's sort of almost a sameness and that was okay. That was just okay. I mean, look, I'd rather see something shoot for the fences and fail than something that is just okay. By the way, while you were talking, I found the Fantastic Four Blu-ray. It's $10.
Wow.
It has commentary on it.
Good.
Yeah. It's we'll put the link in the description. I just put it in the chat so everyone can see it. We'll put a link to your website to get your book, or you can also get it on Amazon. And in addition, the Blu-ray for the Fantastic Four for $10. If you order it, in the notes say Film Threat sent you. So there you go.
There you go. Great.
It's on YouTube as well.
What's that?
It is on YouTube as well. I did find it.
Oh, good.
You found.
Well, if anybody wants a signed copy, that'd be good to go through the website. Send me a message. And, I'll be happy to list price, whatever it is. I don't charge for my autograph. If you're going to be brave enough to buy the book, I promise you'll enjoy it, because it It's a lot. I mean, if you're a fan of this show, if you're at all a fan of this kind of interaction, then this book, and publishing as let's find a segue to not just films. The proliferation of publishing now has been wonderful. Like filmmaking, it's allowed individuals to self-publish so they can tell their stories. Now, the other side of that is there's so much stuff out there. How do you get found? And you really can't, even with a large marketing budget. I'm not going to compete with a Tom Hanks or a Kenneth Branagh biography. But once you start reading my story, you might feel that it's a little more like you, because you're a film fan. You're a person. You're a person who maybe you've done some acting or whatever. It's not that being an actor is this thing worth breaking down and unpacking, but being a guy who at age 18 started flying jets in Battlestar Galactica, which really meant I was sitting on an Apple box in front of a green screen with a helmet that I couldn't move because it was one size fits all, and the helmet had a life of its own. Okay. So right away, I wanted nothing more than to fly jets in space. And that's how I opened my book, because of course, Star Wars, I was 16, 17 years old. A year and a half later, 2 years later, I'm flying jets in space, but it's so fake.
I love it though. I love the old Battlestar Galactica.
It's make believe. Okay. So my book is a story about how to have a life of make believe, but it's done in a very real sense. I think if someone says that, someone used to say to me, I'm going to move to Hollywood, what's your advice? I'd say take Fountain, because the traffic in Hollywood is a killer.
It's a great piece of advice. When I used to have like the Thomas Guide, remember the Thomas Guide? Oh my God.
Look, when storytelling, everybody says you just have to tell the truth. And that's an impossible task because, it's up to you. But what you can do is don't lie. Don't be phony. If you're not phony, if you're not fake, and you can live that way, or at least, we're all human, but at least attain that or use that as a path, then you will weed out a lot of stuff. And what's there is going to be some reality, some truth that occasionally can resonate with an audience on an individual basis and on a collective basis. And that's, I think, what the major film industry has to rediscover is the power of individuality. And that's what this little Fantastic Four film of ours, it was a collective vision that lives in the minds of those who were impressed by it, past, present, and maybe even future. So there's an alchemy there to living in the volume. Gosh, I couldn't have done better had I planned this, that I'm just so happy to have experienced, and in this instance, share it not only with you, but the book available on Amazon.
There you go. One last question for you. We're going to wrap it up with this question. Is from, hey, it's me in HD, who's a member, says, Mr. Hyde, what was it like to be filming a comic book movie in a time where they were few and far between? Really, it was like, there was like Superman and Batman. There were, like Marvel hadn't really found its way yet. So what was it like?
James Cameron was trying to set up Spider-Man at the same time, but he realized that he couldn't do it at a budget level. Look, I felt that we were in the first stagecoach heading west. We were pioneering territory, and the way we had to do it was to buckle up and just treat it as an adventure and a journey, and not rely on faulty special effects, not rely on something after the fact. We had to get it. We had to get it right. And all we could do was use that script and occasionally find moments that Oli would say, hey, great. Did we get that? Yeah, we're in focus. Good. Because there were some elements of magic in that film that that's all we could do was probably lead with the heart is the question. We were excited. We felt that if we could get this right, that we would be on the forefront of telling film stories of comics. Nobody in there. Gosh, I remember visiting Marvel right around that time. I think when I went out to the comic book store, which would have been maybe summer of '93. I went to a fight at Madison Square Garden with a journalist friend of mine named Richard Johnson, who was the editor of Page 6 in the Post. So he would write up the Fantastic Four meet and greets that we'd have. It was really lovely. Sitting next to us was a young executive at Marvel. And he said, hey, and we got to talking, come on. So the next day I go to Marvel and I'm in the bullpen with the people working. And it was like 2 offices and a floor. They were on fumes. They were barely existing. Ron Perelman, I believe, was a corporate raider who owned them at the time. And they had all this IP, but the film industry wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
And fortunately, they hung on. And, you know, Kevin Feige or Avi Lerner, whoever these titans came, they created it. But in a way, we goosed them. We lit the fuse, you know. They had the firecracker. They just needed a fuse lit. And I think that's the role we played. So, yeah, Marvel owes me more than a cameo.
Well, I just got to say the chat is on fire with love for you, Alex. I just want to read a few more of these comments before we let you go. Alan Horkin says, another great Film Threat interview we didn't know we needed. Sons and Shadows says, just before Marvel sold the rights to Fox. And Richard Thornton says, I could listen to this man talk for hours. Well, you can when you get the audio book.
Yeah, that's 11 hours or something. Yeah.
11 hours on the audio book, and the book, it's available on Amazon. You can also go to Alex's website, alexhyde-white.com. We'll put the link in the description. He will sign your book. You don't pay any more than what you pay on Amazon. Buy a copy of the book direct from Alex. He'll sign it for you. That's great. Alex, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was an absolute pleasure to connect with you. You've been so gracious and so kind over the years. And then the fact that documentary Doomed got made, where the movie really got the respect it deserved, and it's become legendary. So thank you so much for sharing all of your stories. And I encourage all of you to get the book in audio or print form, either one.
You know, if you're a Shakespeare fan at all, I made a film called The 3 Days of Hamlet back in 2013, and I had Joseph Culp in it. And it was a sort of a behind-the-scenes look of a troupe of actors who do a 3-day stage reading of Hamlet. And Joseph was wonderful because he talked about how we met. And the Fantastic Four is now part of this version of Shakespeare's Hamlet. And so that's an interesting little film. It's, again, 3 Days of Hamlet. It's out there. But again, I'm easy to find. I've got 3 names with an A and an X and a hyphen. So you can me, and I'd be quite happy to interact again with you and Alan, because this has been a lot of fun. One of the best I've done in years. So thank you. It's because you guys know what you're doing. And, you know, it's like, you know, you're just good partners to have on this chat. And so, yeah, I hope your fans have been rewarded, not just with me, but the enthusiasm and love that you obviously have for your role in this world. And that's all we can hope for. And that to say, let's have a happy new year. It's going to be a crazy one, but
2024,
fun, folks.
It's going to be crazy. Buckle up. Yeah.
Buckle up.
And Oli Sasan says, thanks to Chris and Film Threat. Thank you, Oli. Appreciate it. I just, it's so great to see that this film is getting its due. Just as a longtime fan, the passion and heart that went into this cannot be underestimated. So, you know, I'm just happy to help promote stuff that I know you'll love. So get all that stuff. Alex, have a great rest of the holiday. We have New Year's coming up. Oli, thank you to you, sir, for watching. Glad you found it. And
I'll see you soon, Oli. I'll be back. I'm living in Pensacola. It's 3 hours away from New Orleans. So keep the spare room open.
Well, and if I ever get out I might be coming to Florida at some point to a convention. MegaCon is a convention that's coming up. So you got to do a convention appearance there.
Let me know. Yeah, I don't know where MegaCon, but I know Pensacon is here in February. Let's stay in touch. I'd be happy to
stay in touch.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Take care, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Without an audience. Thank you, guys.
Love you, man. Thank you so much.
Take care.
What a great guy.
I know, that was awesome.
That was fun. Could you?
There we go. You do it or I do it. I'll do it.
Thank you. All
right.
right. Appreciate that. That was great. Oh my God. Oli was in the chat.
Yeah.
And I'm so ecstatic. Okay. By the way, this Blu-ray, it's up-resed. It's the best version of this movie you're ever going to find. It has commentary. It's $10. Look, I get nothing from this. And the guy that's selling it, who's the director of, why am I spacing on his name? He did Doomed. It's on his website. We will put the link in the description. You can get this on Blu-ray. I know you can watch it on YouTube for free, but the commentary version, it's there you go.
And Doomed is on Amazon right now, so you can watch it.
Doomed is on Amazon, the documentary. You can also see the movie. So all the links will be in the description for this episode after we end the stream for today. Alan,
yes.
We are doing a show on Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. No vacation for Alan and I. We will be doing our New Year's Rotten Eve, New Year's Eve holiday chill stream. I've got a bottle of champagne, a bottle of Film Threat champagne. I'm probably not going to drink it. I'll just say right there. But I will be hanging out with everybody. We're going to review some films that we missed. It's going to be a short list. We're not, but we're going to have fun. So join us Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time, wherever your time zone is. I realize we have like an international audience that watches the show. I don't know, I'm humbled by that. But yeah, do you have anything coming up over the next couple days?
I will be in San Diego on Saturday at 7:30. Also, we got 230 people watching us on Rumble, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, follow us, as well as y'all on YouTube. Hit that lick that like button. Lick
the like button, or click or lick or whatever you got to do. But thank you to everyone watching on Rumble. We appreciate you. Occasionally they promote us when we have something interesting. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. Alan and I will be back in a couple of days. I need to say thank you to our mods, to our mod today, Lord Thoth. Lord Thoth, who says like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and sign up as a member and join us on Discord. Lord Thoth, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, a little shout out to Ms. P Coffee. Giving a little shout out to Ms. P Coffee and Glenn. We have some changes that are coming up next year. These are good changes. Okay. Nothing changes. We're doing 2 shows a week, Hollywood on the Rocks, and we're doing the Friday Film Threat Livecast. And we're starting another show. And there's other things. We're expanding what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's gonna get nuts.
Oh,
so
boy.
Be prepared for that. Hey, and John Orchard just became a member. Thank you for that, John.
Welcome aboard.
Appreciate that. Welcome aboard. And Davina Duckworth. See, I see all the people in the chat. They're all everybody. We just like getting together and talking movies. So Friday we'll discuss a lot more. And I don't know. I'm gonna, like I say, here's my plans for New Year's Eve. Nothing. I'm gonna stay home and watch TV. So there you go. I'll watch football. That's what I'll watch. So there you go. Alan, anything else?
No, let's get out of here.
Oh, it is you. We meet again, Mr. Crow. Crow, not Crow, Crow.
That's not the video that let's try it again.
Let's get out of here.